God, wait, we're supposed to be going live? This is streamed?
Look at that for timing. It all went lovely with the music, except, Jason spoke all over it. But hello, friends. Welcome to our second session of After the Fire Season 4. We are down with Charlie, but everyone else is with us. So we're going to not progress so quickly to the ball and the keep. We're going to stick around the tourney grounds, and we're going to get up to some mischief. I'm quite tired, so this is the energy for tonight. And we're going to see what happens. We have some lovely, lovely people with us again this week. I mean, I say that like there's different people coming in and out. It's, you know who it is. It's these people. Jason, how are you doing this week? How was your week?
Perfectly fine, talking over music and intros and just certainly just enjoying life. But no, I'm doing fantastically.
Good.
Got a lot of developments on my end, and if you wouldn't mind, I could just sort of tell the audience.
Yeah, man, go for it.
Peek behind the curtain. I have a lot of interesting and exciting developments happening on my end. Gonna be, hopefully, fingers crossed, without complication, entering into full-time employment with a wonderful organization that I've been looking to work for quite some time. But as that stands, if that does happen, well, when, more like, that will mean, unfortunately, I'll have to take sort of a back seat as I get settled, as I start moving, and as I start having the lovely, lovely struggles that full-time employment entails. So, you may not see Simon for a while. You'll hear from him definitely, and you'll certainly see me around these parts, popping in and having grand old time, because this is just an amazing game to be a part of.
Of course, friendo. And you'll always have a spot.
Yeah. Whenever I carve out the time and whenever I'm able to.
Well, because this is, this is lovely for me, like, and us in the UK in the evenings and stuff. But for you, this is like mid-afternoon, so this is prime full-time work time. So
unfortunately,
whoever's.
However the story gets told with these lovely and fine folks, I'm sure it'll be fantastic. And I'm proud of what what I've been able to do with Simon and Briar and all the characters that I've introduced. And
yeah, me too. Really, it's been so cool.
And I'm gonna be chugging in at 100% when it comes to these sessions. So I hope you all enjoy them.
Well, we got a limited time left, so it's like we're gonna rock it through what you want to do, I think. Cool. Thank you so much, and congratulations again. More importantly, obviously, yeah. And then Tom, my friend, how have you been this week?
I've been all right, thanks. It's been a pretty boring week, to be honest. All
That's
weeks
fair.
are now boring for me. But I can't really complain. I'm very happy to have this, so a little bit of fun. To look forward to every week. But yeah, honestly, naff all has been happening, to be honest.
It's
pretty boring.
That's fair. Yeah. Have you still got the I don't want to say this, the Furthulu thing coming up?
No, that's been postponed.
That's fair.
For a while.
Yeah.
I've still got the idea.
Nice.
I've still got the general gist of it, so it might come at some point as a one shot, but at the moment it's currently postponed. Yeah,
mate, you always got to keep stuff like that on a notepad in the back of your head or something.
Oh yeah,
you like whip it out at a convention, or like do a one shot for someone.
I've got like a folder on my desktop that's got like all kind of like ideas for Call of Cthulhu and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a good one. I just pop it down. And in fact, actually, this is mainly just for After the Fire, but Charlie very nicely gave me this little notepad.
That is cute.
For my birthday. So I've got that, which I've currently just already kind of writing in. So I don't have to do it on the PC anymore. I've got it right here, so it's quite nice. It's not going to look as good as Susie or Charlie's notepads because my writing's kind of shit. But because I've got the writing of a doctor. But I hope I'll be able to read them. Yeah.
Well, look, if I'm led to believe anything by those two, it's not about your handwriting; it's about the washi tape that you frame it with.
Yeah. I've already got a few notes.
Good.
One of Miria.
Good.
that says will be the death of me. So, you know.
Mine's now just, and you know, as these are going to be, as I say, have become a little bit more improvised, and I'm kind of playing it like literally my notes this week are just what you guys said to me. They're just a random mix of like scribbles and names and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping my notes will be. It won't be all neat or you know, like a specific journal for Enzo. It's my journal of all the shit that has happened, and I'm quickly scribbling it down to remember.
Nice.
That's essentially what it's going to be.
And look, it's not a note. It's not a journal if you don't look at it like 3 weeks from now and go, "What the fuck does that mean?" Scribble this down at 3 a.m. and I have no idea what it means.
Yeah, right. That's the dream. That's the dream.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, after all that washi tape speak, I've got to bring Susie in, obviously.
It's true. It's true. A journal is nothing without the stickers, the washi tape, the stamping. Stamping is in key. Do not forget your stamping. That elevates. It really does. Collages. You get it all. It's I am roasting to death. It is 38 Celsius where I am, which is like mid to high 90s Fahrenheit, and I'm just not happy. We've got a fan between me and Justin. I am contemplating a little bit of husband murder just so I can have the fan to myself. I didn't say that for legal purposes, and he's definitely not looking at me now with a panicked look upon his face. But that's just how far I'm willing to go. I'm not dealing well. But
I can sympathize.
But yeah, beyond that, I'm doing great.
I'm glad you're with us.
Yeah. Beyond that, things are great. I became a pirate legend yesterday, so...
You did? That was fucking cool. Like, that thing down, and then all the ghost people, that was so fucking awesome.
I mean, it was also trash because Pendragon wasn't there, but, you know.
A bit, yeah, I was disappointed, legit. But I now I need to grind on the weekend.
Well, I'll boost you.
Nice, thanks. And I need to get the all the inky Kraken stuff. That's my goal.
We're talking about Sea of Thieves for folks who have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry.
It is our current obsession. We take to the waves like nearly daily to be pirates because it's great and fun. But yeah, that's about it for me. I've been streaming that. Been streaming LB Siege tomorrow with Virginia. So yeah.
Dragon Fridays. And we should definitely mention right now the beautiful little man in the corner that you painted.
Samuel's done finally.
It looks awesome. It looks so
got a
good.
Thick neck. It was an unexpected thick neck. It was happening. I was drawing it, and I was like, "This is okay. We're just going with
this. We're going with this. Yeah, cool." But yeah, all the portraits are awesome, and the season 4 stuff particularly. So I've really enjoyed them.
Thanks
so
very
yeah,
much.
we should post them up on the Discord. I think maybe if we can.
Yes, and they'll go up on the wiki when I remember.
Oh yeah, that wiki. That I feel like I need more and more now because I was looking at my notes and I'm thinking, oh god, what's the name of this person? Who are they? What are they doing? I need a defining feature, otherwise I can't roleplay them effectively. So
I have been slowly going through and adding like every character, but Sam said he's adding a bunch of new characters this season. So if at some point you hear distant Yorkshire woman screaming, it's just me as I look at the list of characters.
I can hear an alarm. Anyway, cool. All right then. So, well, let's over to V. Obviously, the partner of Fragging Friday. Tomorrow. Yeah. What else have you been up to on the streams? You are doing The Witcher right now, right?
Yeah, I'm playing The Witcher 3, which is basically, if anyone needs a shorthand of what happens in that, it's me being a very questionable Witcher, making terrible life choices, and talking a lot to Roach. In fact, I spent pretty much all...
Vanilla Witcher to me.
The other day, I spent all of my money on stream yesterday, pretty much buying Roach fancy new saddles and blinders because they looked prettier. I also made friends with several horses.
Have you seen Susie's game, Sea of Thieves content? Because that's basically the same thing. We play dress up on Sea of Thieves and then do some pirating. It's kind of secondary.
You can make wild horses follow you using one of your signs by stunning them.
What?
And I found a field of wild horses and was like, I wonder how many of these I can influence all at once. 7. The answer was 7.
Okay. For science.
And that's when I felt the need to buy Roach new fancy things because I felt bad. But that's basically me playing The Witcher. It's a mess. It's great. Yeah, and then Fragging Friday tomorrow with Susie, where hopefully we can claw our way out of bronze. I logged in the other day to play some Siege, and I got a rank drop thanks to cheaters.
Nice.
Way. But yeah, otherwise, I don't know. I think I've got like a follower voted stream coming up on Monday, so who knows what's going to happen there. But...
Cool. Well, tomorrow I wish you no toxic boys.
Fingers crossed.
I hope there are no
Fingers
toxic
crossed.
boys. I always love that moment where you just hear someone in the background and both of you, because I got the multi-stream on, are just like, oh, it's that time again. Mute.
You get a sixth sense for it when somebody talks and you're like, dear God, here we go again. And I did get an email from Ubisoft. They said they don't tell you what happens like when you report a player. They won't say like which player it is. But considering that the only other report I had was resolved and the other one was the one I made a fuss about on Twitter that they DM'd me about, I got a nice email that was like, we've taken some actions against players based on your most recent report. Thanks. And I was like, ha 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 ha.
Good. It's Garbo.
Laughs in woman.
Yeah. It's Garbo.
So that's always
like,
good.
What people do. Yeah, for sure. Alrighty. Cool. Well, be sure to check that out. Tabletop Board on the Twitches. And then, of course, leaving the loveliest till last, Mr. Donathan Fry, my GM for Darkson. How are you, sir? You well?
Yeah, I'm good. We're finally sort of all unpacked and we're finished up here in our new home, which is super nice. I'm back to work, so like I'm back on a regular schedule, which for me is very comforting. When I don't have a schedule, that's when I get like super anxious. So everything's kind of, back to the new normal. And I've been recording some things that will come out later in the year, sort of behind the scenes. Been working on that. Some writing stuff that I can't talk about now, but I'll be able to talk about later. You know how it goes.
Sure.
But I'm just excited to be back. I really enjoyed the first session of the season last week. And I'm looking forward to partaking in more trouble causing. I feel like there's a lot of trouble that's going to happen over the next few episodes. And I just want to play a small part in that trouble. That's all I want.
Yeah. Of course. Well, I will most definitely oblige because that is my whole jam. All right. Well, let's dive in, I think. I would like, to open up with Miria. With Marcia now having left for Foxhollow Keep to essentially set up for the feast tonight. We're heading into the afternoon and you are on babysitting duty for Bryn. It is Bryn that's here, isn't it?
Yes.
Good. And someone of particular import is now arriving. There has been what seems like an absolute wave of people arriving at this place because you're all hosting a proper regional tournament. So there's upwards of kind of 500 knights down from hedge knights up to Prince Maekar himself have all arrived like ready to try and prove their mettle. And finally you are here to greet the Danes. Lord Jared is here with his wife, Lady Arena Dane, and obviously his brother, one of Marzia's champions, Sir Lewin Dane, the sword in the morning. They arrive much like most people have. The Red Mountains aren't that easy for carriages and the like to traverse, so most people have arrived actually just straight on horseback. Mm-hmm. Or if they're very lazy, probably literally carried by people in a litter. Otherwise, there have been camp followers walking in. They have managed to have like small carts come in with goods and stuff, but carriages have been a real problem. You are definitely here with Bryn. I think he is here to figuratively greet people, the most important people that Marcia can't right now. But I imagine that you are going to do most of the actual work as well. Is anyone else here with you, or?
I imagine we have maybe Braith, so she can just like, if Bryn starts kicking off at any point, she can like go deal with the Lord while greet the guests.
Sure, yeah.
But I think, I mean, if anybody else wanted to be here, like Enzo or anything like that, they could be. That's fine with me. But I think really maybe she'd have a couple of the devoted with her as well, just as like, this is the official house greeting section.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of hollow hearts as
hollow hearts, not devoted, sorry.
As guards.
Yeah.
Tom, is Enzo with her at this point?
Probably not. He's probably around the tourney looking for certain items and objects and stuff like that.
Okay.
He's got work to do.
Yeah.
He's got a job on.
We'll pop
but
back
I
to
think
that then.
with Bryn, she's probably like, for people that aren't super important, she's just kind of had him next to her while she's greeting people. But then when people are important, she's like, plop the child in front, get him to do his little bow and say his thing, then bring him back.
Yeah, sure. So he does that just as the Danes dismount from their horses. Lord Jared has brown, well-groomed hair that kind of hangs clumsily around in curtains around, over a bony, worried face. The Danes have been very Switzerlandy about things lately, so they have remained very neutral in all of the goings on that have been taking place just south of the Red Mountains. And that's very notable. You have heard that Sir Lewin, the Sword in the Morning, was one of the knights that accompanied a fleet over to besiege Tyrosh. So he's maybe a veteran of that. But because that's also happening in Crown Lands, I don't have too much about that myself. So that's still a little bit of rumour and conjecture. We definitely know this happened. And then Lady Arina Dane is Sir Oliver's sister.
And we'd said in the session 0, right, Miria had been in contact with her, just a couple of letters.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, that will have started not long after Oliver's death, I think. But she... Oh no, I didn't copy the description that Don beautifully provided me. But she has the blonde hair and striking blue eyes of Northern Dornish people. And she wears a riding dress for now that underneath, certainly, you can see there are silks and such. But having ridden north from... can't remember what the castle's called. But they are kind of basically just... They've got 2 keeps just below Blackmont. So they're also very close by. So they've ridden north. She's in quite kind of rough riding gear for a noblewoman. As is the Lord. It's very much kind of traveling gear. Sir Lewin, interestingly, isn't really in armor. I mean, because they've got guards to flank and protect them. But they are here too. So Lord Gerard steps forward, and introduces himself to the young lord, and then looks to you.
And Miria, she sort of curtsies in response and smiles wildly and warmly. Lady Miria Greenmont.
My lady. very very good to meet you. And he's kind of looking around a little bit, while Arena is a little bit more kind of graceful and kind of settled in herself, as she dismounts.
How was the journey from Starfall? I trust everything went well.
Oh yes, no issues at all there.
Excellent. Well, I'm very glad to receive you, and I'm sure Lady Marcia will be. She's currently just at the keep, arranging things for the ball tonight.
Excellent. Do we have a place marked out for a camp?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We made sure to ensure that you had a place to camp.
Excellent. Yeah, and the all the champions have their own little glade, like closer by to the actual little tourney ground itself. I think, yeah, we kind of established that last session, didn't we?
Yeah, there's like a champion's glade, as Charlie's screaming in chat.
There we go. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So they would head in that direction. But is there anything else you want to speak to them about? Reach out.
Yeah,
to them
she
about?
wants to. She's basically zero. She's been pleasant and fine to the Lord, but she's like zeroing in on Irina, informally known as Auntie Dane.
Sure.
And she goes over to her and greets her very warmly, with a big smile.
She greets you very warmly, I think. I mean, I think whatever is most appropriate that is, as I say, is quite warmly and affectionate. Because this is like, this is the Westerosi equivalent of like having like spoken online or shared a lot of like messages or stuff like that, and then meeting up for the first time in a while. So I'm interested to know what kind of thing Miria's talked about with her in letters.
Ooh, boy.
Just to get some grounding in this.
Yeah, she definitely would have spoken at length about Oliver, because that's the one thing they had in common.
Yeah.
And then I think she would have spoken a bit about Dawn itself. She would be very curious to know about basically what life is like for Irina, what the Danes are like, what Starfall is like.
Okay.
Maybe not asking directly, but finding out what their relationship with the Martells is like. And I mean, she knows, it's common knowledge, like the Danes are like the cops of Dawn, right? They're the paladins. They're the ones that stand by what's right and true. And she was very curious to know if that is following the prince blindly and doing what he says, or a little bit of, that's a shitty thing to do, we're not gonna do that, kind of.
Okay, that's interesting.
Like the whole thing was really just trying to establish like a good rapport with her, to be someone who would be like a close friend.
Okay, sure. So over the course of that time, I think you can establish a friendly disposition from her. I think in her letters she has been kind of short about that kind of thing. She's been very affectionate about Oliver. She's written at length about him when he was younger. Even if you would ask about what happened to him in regards to his exile and his brother. But anything political has been kind of vague. But now in person, I think you have more of an opportunity. And this would be more something like, this would be more of a standard intrigue to get information from her about that kind of thing. I mean, if you wanted to do that, we could do that. Sure.
Yeah, cool.
All right, sweet.
I haven't rolled yet as adult Miria.
Let me get a lady up. Hang on. Yeah, let's have a look at what are the stats for this one. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Where's my cheat sheet? There it is. Okay.
Let's roll some status breeding.
Oh, 10.
Oh.
Oh.
I've got a 6 in there. I'm just going to adjudicate that you break the tie. So I like to think that, I mean, this is like a politeness roll, right? They're both trying to be as polite as each other.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just the fact that kind of you break first into a little bit more of candid.
I think, okay, so how we set this up then is perhaps the men go off to start the camp, and Maria is kind of like, I'll show you around the area, Lady Irina, and sort of, you know, they have a little wander off. She dumps Bryn on Braith.
Sure.
Because 5-year-olds are chatty Cathys. And
all right.
she don't want no secrets getting spilled by a chatty little 5-year-old.
All right, cool.
So Maria sort of leads her to a quieter but a nice sort of to look at area. And she kind of says, I must confess there is a ulterior motive to this tourney.
There always is.
That's true. You see, I am hoping to be betrothed to someone. And we are hoping to announce it here. But the marriage could be seen as controversial.
Marriages are always controversial. That's why people get wed.
Well, yes.
To afford some political position. What does it mean for you and the house?
It would mean that... And she kind of like takes a breath and looks around. It would mean that a descendant of House Blackmont would return to Blackmont.
I mean, she kind of looks away from you a little bit towards middle distance, but searching below her, kind of searching for kind of how she feels about that. Her mouth a little agape as she kind of takes that in. Lord Peak. Can understand your position.
Yes. Well, beyond it being advantageous, I do care for him. We've gotten a chance to get to know each other over the years, and I think I would be happy.
And yet he is not here now with us.
Well, he had other things to attend to. I have chosen him as my champion at the tourney. He has to prepare.
I see. She's been quite guarded about kind of all that. So let's make some rolls. So pick your technique and your action, please.
All right. I am Persuasion Charm. I'm trying to bring her around to my side.
Alrighty.
All right. Let's... Oh, hang on. Let me get my also additional cheat sheet for Maria's shit.
What were your benefits and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's easy peasy. All right. So, that's going to be 23.
Whew. All right. No, what is that? 2 degrees of success.
Okay.
Or maybe 3. Hang about. Yeah, 3 degrees of success.
Okay, that's 12.
Oh. All right. You have 1. I mean, I think we're going to need to give a parting shot in terms of exactly how. You can see that she's becoming reserved, and I think that Miria has got to kind of just do something here to almost immediately spin her out of that. Maybe. But essentially, out of this, you'll get the target's disposition has improved by 1 step towards you. Or unless you've still got that quality, it improves
No, I don't.
further. Okay.
I don't have the one where it's just like massive damage.
Okay.
I think what she does is then immediately pivot to bringing up Oliver and how Oliver and Gorman were good friends and that he would approve of this match.
Nice. Yeah. Fair enough. I mean, I think that's some good spin, and yeah.
And she'd be like, she's like, she lays it on with the whole like, it's a tragedy that he can't be here, like he was my god's father, he raised me.
He gave Mara away, he gave me away,
yeah,
etc. Yeah, for sure. Nice. Yeah. And she's happy for you. In addition, you gain +1 dice on all deception and persuasion tests in your next intrigue against them.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was brief. Is there anything else you wanted to cover? Like any conversational bits you wanted to cover?
I think just because it's very hard, my brain's not working very well.
It's fine. Me too.
She's just gonna do the whole thing with like that. She's a personal guest of Miria's, so if she wants to come and stay at the keep, then she is more than welcome to do so. Basically, anything she needs, Miria, it will be there to give it to her. She's doing that whole like extreme good hostess bit. Yeah.
All right, sweet. Just note down her. Note down your +1 dice for the intrigue. The next one. See, charm's a really good one to like build up with, because then you can go into your next intrigue. I know, I'd give it a kind of narrative time limit, but like if you kind of talk to her this evening about something very pressing, or over the course of the tourney, absolutely, you could.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole thing. Go in with the charm offensive, get her on a good side, and then when she needs something, she's like, "Hey."
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no, she's genuinely very happy for you. And then, cool. All right. Very nice indeed. Okay. Because we've mentioned it, I think let's head to Enzo, as he like works his way around. I guess the traders' camp.
Yeah.
Area.
I mean, the traders camp. I mean, I could go to Kiri, I guess.
Sure.
Like need be, see if she has anything.
Yeah. Let me just grab up.
And I probably could trust her more than just a random seller to keep things quite on the down low, quiet.
Sure. Okay. You can absolutely head over to her. Did you want to treat this like kind of like an intrigue where you're also trying to get her to be quiet about stuff?
Sure.
I mean, it depends. It depends how you want to roleplay it. So maybe let's not. Maybe I shouldn't preempt it.
Okay, we'll just see how it goes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you head into the traders' area, and this is already bustling now with browsers. Just across the field, not far from this little encampment, and it is really only a small encampment of traders, have all set up little smithing stations. There's like anvils everywhere, and there's already bellows going and forges and stuff that they've managed to bring with them. Knights and squires and like everyone's trying to get into a position, trying to wrestle through the crowd, looking at the wares. There's people buying. One person's even like shouting, doing an auction of stuff, and it's all going for pretty high prices. Kiri is doing great.
Cool.
People are looking at her stuff. A few people are buying. There's even a little bit of sparring, and as I say, across the way you've got the like hospitality tent still, with the kitchen tents out the back, and they're already in fine spirits, and it's only mid-afternoon. The nobles are going to head off quite shortly to the actual like ball itself, but you can already tell that the more common folk, the hedge knights, the chivalrous types who haven't been invited, are already warming themselves up for a night just the same.
Could I possibly just quickly pop over to the refreshment places and grab 2 ales?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, gonna come with something and head on. I'm gonna head on over to Kiwi. Kind of like this is like Enzo in his element. He loves towns. He loves cities. He loves busyness. He loves people doing whatever.
Cool.
It's something this is enjoying for him. This is enjoyment.
Yeah.
Just hearing deals and stuff, and he's gonna weave his way through the crowds up to Kiri, whatever she's doing, whether she's working the forge or doing something else.
For sure. I mean, she's taking it fairly easy. People haven't come to her yet for any mending or any custom jobs or anything like that. So people are taking a look at her arms and armor that's all up on racks, and they're checking stuff out. There's a few hedge knights that are, considering it, that might have a bit of money, that might need to kit up a little bit. But she's not doing a roaring trade yet. She's taking some money, and people are mostly browsing at hers. But it's still a good amount of people around here.
Okay.
I mean, because she's more a weaponsmith, isn't she?
Yeah, she's more of a weaponsmith. Yeah.
It's her blades, it's her spears, it's her long axes that are all getting a look in here, and people are very, the hedge knights particularly are enamored with what there is. And as you start to approach, when they ask a price, she says some prices that even to your ears you can tell are a bit over the top. And more often than not, they put the sword down, they thank her profusely, and then they move on to another trader.
Okay. No problem. Hey, her swords, her prices. Yeah. Okay, so he's gonna weave up, and he's gonna kind of head on over to Kiri with a big smile. Ah, Kiri, it is good to see you. Yeah, I bought you a drink.
Now then, thank you. And she drinks the mug of ale, while she keeps one eye on the people who are browsing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Enzo will nurse his a little more. He goes, so, how goes business? It seems quite busy here.
Very good. I've had some purchases. How's the little lord?
The little rascal, he is as good as ever. I think the attention is maybe a little too much for him, but I think he will grow into it.
You've taught him those graces well.
Indeed. Right. So, Kiri, there is a reason I am here. Not just because of your wonderful company, of course.
What do you want?
I have a friend of mine who requires a set of armor and a helmet. Scale mail will do.
Well, I've got a bit of plate, but
it has to be lighter.
Sure. I mean, that's going to be a custom job.
I mean, could you
quick
get
to-
it done? How quick would it take for you to do
When do you need it?
by tomorrow? Was it tomorrow the tourney?
Yeah.
By tomorrow. I mean, I don't care if it's just like you modify an already scale armor. If that would be easier for you, do that.
Scale, not plate.
No, scale. My friend prefers to be quick and flexible. Although I wouldn't mind a plate helmet. That I can take.
I've got a helm, and she points to a fairly Reacher-looking helm, and you can also tell it's got a little bit of a northerly shape to the way that it fits around.
Okay.
Whatever you take that to mean.
Does it cover the full everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that will be fine. What color is it? Is it just silver, grey?
Yeah, just steel.
Just box. That's fine. Could you? So if you have time, I'll take that helmet. That'll be good. That'll be fine. Do I think that it would fit her head? Yeah, a little bit of padding. It'll be
I want you to roll me
Yep.
cunning
Oh dear.
memory,
Okay.
please. This is going to be a 12.
Oh dear.
I
13.
It's like, oh, okay. I was going to say, this is like judging whether a hat fits somebody or not. Like, you know, this kind of stuff. Maybe I'm very inattentive, but this kind of stuff is like crazy to me. So yeah, okay, all right. Well, yeah, you think it'll be a little big.
We'll get some padding. It's fine because I don't know what the head coif is. Is that what they call coif?
Coif, yeah.
Coifs, yeah.
Yeah.
Could stick that on, be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Keely, for the scale, she, the person is quite a slender person. How tall is Miria? Again,
She's like 5'9", 5'10". I don't know how tall
Okay.
people are.
Okay, no, that's fine if she's like that. So she's the person is just a little shorter than I am, and a bit skinnier than I am.
How skinny is Enzo?
Enzo isn't particularly buff. He's quite slender. So yeah, he's not particularly buff.
Am I fitting a squire?
You're fitting a friend of mine.
Okay. Well, a rush job. Scale, which I'm not used to working with.
It'll be fine. I have faith in your ability.
I'll have to go speak to Lionel over at the Lion's Mane, and she points over to a stall to get the scale, because I don't have anything with me. It's going to be 3 gold.
That's fine. That'll be all right. Yeah, no problem. I'll be able to do that for you. You wouldn't happen to have... they're very picky. You wouldn't happen to have maybe some sort of black feather to put in the hat or the top of the helmet? It is something they asked. It is not required, but it'd be a nice little present.
Black feather.
Yeah. Or just something like that, a feather of any kind. I don't think they care.
I'll have a look. See if there's any crows or maesters about. Grab
Kitty.
one from them.
Yeah, outstanding. Thank you. This is a friend of mine, and it's someone I would prefer to, no one else to know about. It's a bit of a favor. It's a little bit embarrassing. You understand?
All right. I need you to roll for me Persuasion Convince.
Okay. Not charm.
Not charm. You're not getting her to like you. You're trying to get her to keep stum.
Sure, Eddie likes me. It's fine.
Yeah.
Ooh, only a 10 with that. Only a 10 and no ones.
Okay. So she says, she looks down for a moment into her now empty mug. And then she looks back at you and she says, "All right." And she kind of like slaps this like your shoulder with the mug, like she would if she had an open hand.
Yeah.
So she kind of slaps you on the shoulder and then hands you the mug back.
Yeah, thank you. And I hand her my mug. That's still got some left in. So it's kind of just like a swap there. Thank you so much, Kitty. I'll have the money for you upon delivery. I'll be back.
I need it now. I've got supplies to get.
Okay, fine. And I'll give her 3 gold.
All right. So she takes it. As she turns around, you can hear her kind of muttering about how this is her shutting up shop for basically for the day, but she's kind of making her money back and stuff. As you go to leave, where's my sesh? Notes. As you go to leave, a young man, kind of shaven head, but kind of stubbly as it's just started to grow out again. Beard, kind of a tanned skin, like definitely sun-kissed skin. The signs of someone whose life is on the road, is weathered, even though he's got quite a young complexion. And he's wearing like a artisan's apron. And as you're passing by his tent, he essentially just steps in front of you and stops you and says, "I'm sorry, I can't help noticing, but you're after some scale, right?"
I was after some scale, not any longer.
See, now I've got some here, and he's kind of brings you to, or shows you at least, a set. It's a kind of not a cuirass, but like the chest piece that then goes down into the skirt, and it's looks fairly decent, well made to the eye, and he's saying to you, "Now look, honestly, I know it's probably a custom job. I can do alterations and stuff, but I think she's charged you over the odds, mate. Like, I'll be brutally honest. I can do it for 50 silver stags."
You can do an entire alteration job for 50 silver stacks.
It's not much. Take some of the coins out of the side. You can sew it back up. Take me a couple of hours, probably. Easy work.
Can I get a read on him?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know if you can in this to get a read on him.
You absolutely can. So this is awareness, empathy, and this
okay.
could be against his passive deception.
All right, let's give it a go. 24 with 3 6s.
He is coming off, I think, and mistakenly from a bit of my roleplay, maybe he's coming off a little desperate, but you take a look at his stall, and he's got, it's okay stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the hedge knights are here, and there's even a couple that were at Kiri's tent that looked at stuff, put it down, went along, and they've done a little bit of a circle around the traders, right? And they've come to this guy, and they're literally, like, as he's trying to sell to you, they're trying to give him money, and he's then taking it, and he's like, "Yeah, no, that's great. Come back to me if you, if you get a dent in it, I'll knock it out for you for free. Yeah. Don't worry about it." This store is quite popular. He's also, which I mark as different from a lot of the others, marks you now that Kiri didn't have any prices up on any of her stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy is actually marked down, either with like a tally or with a little bit of kind of, I guess for the kind of those that can't read, or in a kind of like trader's script. Like he's got prices.
Okay.
But he's
Okay.
coming across as genuine, a little desperate, and there's a lot of energy about him. A youthful energy in terms of being a trader here.
Okay. Let me see this. Let's see this scale mail armor.
Just gives it to you.
And I'm gonna have a feel and have a look to see the quality, see how it's looking, how it feels.
Well, I'm going to need you to roll for me, I think, knowledge.
Oh dear.
Unless you think something else is going to apply.
I mean,
fighting, or if you think marksmanship. If either of those, if you're, it depends on the way you're appraising this, I think.
Honestly, it's kind of probably a mix of how the material feels, having a look for any dents or any loose things, and as much as fighting would be a better role, but Enzo doesn't fight in scale, so I don't think his own knowledge of scale would really help him there, even though it would be a better role. So possibly knowledge, I guess.
I'll go with knowledge, and I think bargaining as the bonus dice from persuasion.
Don't think I have bargaining. No, I don't. Okay, so it's just a straight knowledge test. 11. Yeah, not bad. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's your conclusion.
It's all right, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I did already give Kiri 3 gold, though. I could get it back, I suppose. Okay, done.
Great.
Do you have change?
Yeah. And he jiggles his quite fat coin purse. It's probably all silver, but
yeah, and I get a silver a dragon because that's all I got. The range of a dragon.
Yeah. Brings you out a couple of not just stags, stars. Brings you out a couple of stars because they are 7 stags, I think. There's something gnarly about what's going on here and there with the money.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Sorry, chat. I need to look at money.
Isn't it something like 220 to
It's 210. It's all in sevens. It's 210 silver stags to a gold dragon.
Okay.
But then a star is something else. We'll get there.
Okay. I need to write this down now. So.
Oh, okay. Stars. Okay, a stag is the larger denomination.
Okay, so we'll do stags.
Yeah.
What was it? 50 silver stags, and it's 200. So he gives me what? 160 back?
Yes.
160 silver stags back.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. So a moon is 7 stags.
I didn't even.
Let's
know
just
there
do.
Was a moon.
Let's just do silver. All
yeah,
right.
I'm sorry. I didn't know there was such a moon.
Stags and moons, mate.
Didn't know.
30 moons. So yeah. I don't know what the fucking. Do you know? I don't think this is George. I think this is Green Ronin. I think that's so too, that's what it is.
I think so. We'll stick with gold and silver. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
And Tom's. It's fine.
Toms are the copper.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take it. 50 silver.
Cool.
You know what? I'm gonna head back to Kiri.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, is she still there?
Yeah. I mean, she's starting to close the flap of the tent.
Gilly. You don't need to close up. It is fine.
What do you mean it's fine?
Oh, it's fine. I managed to get myself some scale mail. It's fine. It's okay. You don't need to do it. It's all good. Although I do still need the helmet.
Okay. Helmet. Helmet's 90 stags.
Keep 1 gold. No, you know what? Keep 2 gold, and I'll take.
That's a terrible conversion, Tom.
It's Kiri. Who cares?
It's more than half the.
Who cares? It's Kiri. You know.
Okay.
It's money to Enzo is.
All right, fine. So you want a gold dragon back?
Well, I think you're not going to be doing the chain mail, are you? Actually, you know what? Could you do a better job than this?
And she takes a look at the scale in your arms. I mean, I'll be honest, Enzo, probably not.
There we go then.
I'm not used to working with it.
I understand. I understand. You are for weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Do not worry. I'll use this. So if I could have that gold back, you can keep the 2. It's all good. I don't take the helmet.
Susie's got it right in chat. I would kill this person if they were freelancing.
She's
Right.
getting an extra gold. She can't complain. That's a tip and a half.
Yeah, I mean, fair play. She does that. I think you've paid over the odds there for it.
Fair, more than over the odds.
So she starts opening up again.
Good. And as do I have the helmet? Does she give the, or does she need to prepare the helmet and stuff a bit more? Because I did ask for the feather.
If you want the feather, yeah, you'll need to pick it up in the morning.
I'll pick it up in the morning. It's fine.
Okay.
And as I leave, I'm going to make a big bravado of how these are the finest weapons you could find, and only Enzo Sal buys from Keely, the blacksmith of Greenmont.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favourite
yeah,
store
this
on
is
the
my
station.
favorite store on the Tony. And then I'm gonna just swagger back.
Okay. I just want to see you roll persuasion.
Charm?
No.
Let me roll charm.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean you're charming people
27.
towards her there.
27.
Cool. That wasn't even an amazing roll either.
No, I know.
That's chunky. 7 keeps
Yeah.
7. Whew. All right. Okay. You walk away. One scale mail the richer, but 2.5 dragons the poorer, I guess.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
hey, it's all about doing the favor. Money's just like I can always make more money.
Okay. That's fair. Simon, you hear Enzo Sal make this proclamation. Scale mail draped over one arm, as you can be anywhere around the hospitality area, the trader area.
I think I'm definitely back where the first fight started,
Sure.
like between Mara and Miria, and I think he's writing at the table that they were sitting at, which is probably like in the middle of a prep area, but he doesn't care. As he hears it, it's sort of like, oh God, he's talking. Just slam the book, or actually make sure that the ink is dry before slamming the book shut, and sort of going out to see what the hell is going on.
Sure. Yeah. So you, as you leave the hospitality tent, trying to get through the small folk crowds now that are cramming into it and shouting over at the bar, you see him just leaving down a little slope down into a little kind of like dirt track that will lead you round these glades, or like round the camp with the glades spinning off from it. He's got this like slightly coppery, bronzy kind of scale armor, draped over one shoulder, I imagine, as he swaggers along.
To sort of follow a few steps behind.
Sure. I want you to make me. Are you being stealthy? To a degree.
You know what? To a degree, yeah. It's not like obvious that he's following. Or, well, I say that I should probably roll first, huh?
All right. So roll me stealth. Roll me blend in or sneak. Up to you.
Any bonus die?
Any bonus die? I don't know. Did you spend any last thingy? And did you
I know for a fact that I shifted a couple of dice into, I think it was deception, but I did not do it with stealth.
No.
So.
No bonus dice unless someone shouts at me that you should have one in your screen. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
know.
So that'll be a 5.
Cool. Enzo, unless your passive awareness is 5.
Well, I'm not blind.
No.
And I'm not deaf.
I'm not.
So
I am aware of my surroundings at the very least.
Yeah.
So this guy, you've had someone on your tail now. You just noticed this guy has been following you.
Okay.
It gets, I think, with a 5, I think it gets to a point where you're basically, because this track goes round, but a long way round, and then the glades spin off from that, with the kind of the tawny ground kind of in the middle, and the hospitality and traders just off from that. So you've gone quite a way now, Enzo, and even though that there are throngs of people, they're congregating in towards the center and in their encampments. So there's not many people on the path at the moment. It gets to a point where this is just the two of you, and you're pretty sure this guy's been behind you the whole time.
And I mean, also, I got a 1, so I'm assuming that it's very obvious because he steps in like a puddle or something. Like
I like that.
Yeah,
just splash.
Wait, what? You're just like, oh shit, as you like,
okay,
yeah. As your robes get all mucky on the bottom.
The jig is up. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, Enzo's just going to turn around and go, Mr. Simon, it's good to see you. Can I help you with anything? Do you need a conversation with me?
Oh, God. In a certain sense, I suppose, one who's associated with you. Have you any idea where the Lady Marzia is?
I believe she went back to Fox Hollow to do certain arrangements.
Sensible, very sensible.
She's a very busy woman.
Oh, absolutely, which I immensely respect. And he's just sort of like thumbing through the journal, making sure that it didn't get like screwed up too much. Closes it, and the other one then. Pardon, Miria. Where would she happen to be?
Your sister. In fairness, the last time I saw her, she was on the archer field. She was training.
Oh, marvelous! I would not want to see her with a weapon. So
no,
if
you would not. She and he brushes kind of some mud off his jacket.
Oh, so terribly sorry.
Yes, of course.
Well, in such a manner, I suppose. If you are on your way to see her, and he just sort of like tilts his head at the armor.
I'm not going to see her. I wasn't planning to until later tonight, but I could talk to her then.
Well,
earlier if you wish.
Earlier, if I wish, and I do wish, my friend. He'll hold up.
Do you wish to have a conversation with her, or do you wish me to relay a message?
A message of a conversation. Yes, marvelously sharp-witted you are. And he'll hand a note.
Is it sealed?
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, okay. And it's for her eyes only, I assume.
Unfortunately, yes. It's not that I do not trust you, my good sir. Simply
fine. I wouldn't hand me a note that wasn't unsealed. However, I do believe this is a job for a messenger, and I am not a messenger, so I would require some recompense.
Ever the astute businessman.
Or alternatively, you can give me another favor. Don't forget the one you still owe me from the 5 gold dragons.
It keeps me up at night. Don't worry.
It only cost a single silver stack. Surely a maester of the tower has a single silver.
I don't. That's the problem.
Do you, I mean, you've been traveling to research stuff, right?
Yes.
I am not going to leave you high and dry for a bit of cash.
Okay.
But let's roll for it, because it's always fun.
Sure. Why not?
I would like you to roll a status stewardship test, and we are going to multiply this by your choice of either cunning, fighting, persuasion, thievery, or warfare.
Cunning, please. Please, cunning.
Sure.
Oh God, please, cunning.
So let's roll that status stewardship test.
Okay, so I have a flaw in status, which means that I roll
-1
3,
dice.
but
You roll all of your dice, but then you'll remove one. Yeah, one of them.
penalty die.
Yeah.
9. That's a higher roll than I anticipated.
Very nice. 6 and a 3. Okay. So if you can multiply that by your cunning for me.
9 times 4, that's going to be 36.
You have 36 stars.
Which is what?
What does that mean?
What? Hang on.
Is it to a stag?
Right, friends, it's page 125 of the rulebook. I'll leave the rest up to you.
Okay, 125.
I was picking a lower denomination than stags.
That's fair. No, that's fair. It's just I've got to figure out how much that is. 136, you say?
No,
Bang, bang, bang.
36.
No, no, I meant the page.
125.
125. Page 125.
Do you want this in stags?
I think it would be better because a star is 8 pennies.
Yeah.
A stag is 7
7 stars is a stag.
Yeah.
What? Ow. And other sentences I never thought would make sense. Okay.
What number did I say?
You said 36.
Yeah. All right, so 36 divided by 7.
That's at least
5 and a bit silver stags. You got 5.14.
I'll give him 1 and the change and keep 4 silver stags.
Okay.
Cool.
A little bit extra for you, my dearest friend.
Oh, thank you very much. This is very kind of you. Thank you.
Thanks.
I will deliver this straight away after I have dropped this off. And
out of curiosity, who is that for?
This is for a friend of mine.
A friend? You seem to have many.
I do indeed.
Are they entering the tourney?
Oh, they hope to.
Hope to? What, are they low birth or something?
Well, they just require... it's a bit embarrassing. They don't have the gear that needed to go in, so they ask me for a favor to get it for them. I do not wish to talk about it. It's quite embarrassing for them.
Oh, of course. But please, in confidence, I might be able to provide some insight if, of course, the person is interested in the politicking of this particular tourney.
No, I think they're just interested in fighting.
Oh. How irrevocably dull. Well, unless there is anything else, my good man.
Thank you. I will deliver this soon. Thank you, mister. And he'll turn off. He'll give a nice little bow, very friendly bow, and then walk off.
I twitch and just other direction, explicitly going to Mara at this point.
Okay. Mara, I think on I think both of your requests, you are both with so Samuel and Mara are in their camp. I'm just setting things up. I've already forgotten the name of your squire, who is probably setting
Gregor.
up Gregor. Nice.
Gregor, we love Gregor.
Who's probably already setting up most of the camp and is kind of quietly grumbling about it under his breath.
I think Mara is probably inside. Like, assumably they've had Mara and Samuel's tent set up first, so they've got somewhere to be.
Sure.
So I think Mara is probably inside. Not so much sulking, but she's in no mood to be out and about enjoying, the kind of atmosphere that's starting to build now that most of the people have arrived and the drink is flowing. And I think she's probably sat in there on one of the many trunks that holds their stuff, and she's got the white pelt that Samuel gave her before they arrived kind of sat across her lap, and she's just kind of stroking along the fur and running her fingers around the edges of the forget-me-nots that have been sewn into it. And I think she's probably been sat here since she got back after the argument with Miria and her conversation with Marcia. This is where she's come back to, and probably hasn't really said much. She's just been thinking over that whole ordeal.
And what's Samuel up to?
So is this the same day as the previous session?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it's only a little later, maybe
Okay.
a couple of hours later. The camp's been set up a little bit.
And it's not much of a camp compared to some of the other camps either. We were talking, and I think Samuel went and he found a spot where maybe there's a few trees, like a little bit of shade away from the rest of the camp, just a smaller, kind of quieter space.
Yeah.
And he would have probably taken time to set up the tents and make Gregor do the unpacking while he picks like the perfect position. And he's done it in such a way that when you open up like the tent flap in the front, like you have this perfect view just over this sort of ridge, this little hill, and you can see all of the action. It's a little further away. You're far enough that it's still kind of quiet, but you can see it in the distance.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he's picked this perfect little vantage point for them. And I imagine like after setting up the tent, they're pretty far south. It's really hot. So he's changed out of his armor. He's changed out of that green sort of fancy coat that he had on, and he's just changed into a simple like monochromatic tunic, lighter pants. And he's probably looked at where Mara has been waiting inside the tent a few times as he's going about his business. And before he steps in, like he takes a moment just to like lean back against a tree. And I imagine like Samuel always like finds like what's the local smoke leaf, like what do the locals smoke, and he's probably found some, and he's just like looking at the view, all of the nights, all of the camps under the shade, just smoking, before he would go in and say hello to Mara. But as soon as he is done, he would take a breath and just duck inside the tent and raise a hand and say, "Are you doing all right?"
I'm starting to think that maybe it was a mistake that we came. You saw what happened earlier. And she's still just kind of, she only looks up when she speaks to you, otherwise she goes back to stroking that pelt. And it's almost like you've seen her do this before, in like the first few times that you'd visited her at Old Oak, way back when, before you'd found Simon. And it's that kind of nervous energy. She doesn't really know what to do with herself, and so she just picks this one thing and is just stuck with that.
Samuel comes inside the tent, and instead of sitting like on a trunk, he sits down right on the ground. And he's a tall man, like he's a big person. But he lowers himself as much as he can and sort of relaxes, and he pulls out from his little pouch a little metal flask that I imagine he's filled up. Like he not only did he find local smoke leaf, it's like, what's the local booze? What do they make here? It's always, you got to shop local. And so he pulls out a little flask and he sort of shakes it for Mara, and he offers it over and says, "We knew this wasn't going to be easy. And that's all right. It's just getting started. There's plenty of opportunities for us to change people's minds, to make a difference."
I think she sees the flask and smiles, and takes it out of your hand and takes a swig of what's in there. I'm not sure what this is, but it isn't half bad.
I
You've
think
got more
I
of
had
it.
this. I can get more. I can get whatever you want. Really, it's not that often that we come down this far south, and in such a way that we're welcomed.
Well, we're welcomed here in these camps. We're not welcome at the feast, the ball. I'm not allowed to step foot inside my father's halls. Neither are you. I don't know if the Lady Marcia told you that or not. She certainly told me. We're not welcome tonight. The most I'm allowed is to go up to the Godswood to see my own father's grave. And Oliver's.
He sort of chews on that for a moment, and he holds out his hand for the flask just to take a swig of it, his own. And he nods his head, and he says, well, I can't imagine she'd really make a scene if we came, but I could ask around. Perhaps we could come masked.
I don't think Lady Marcia would make a scene, but my sister, however, I think she would delight in the opportunity, if there came to be one, to send either one of us out of that hall. She's still angry. To be honest, I think she's more angry at me than perhaps she is at you.
Mara,
she still blames me. I didn't even know what was happening that night, Samuel. Did I ever tell you it took Alistair 3 days to tell me what he'd done?
Yes, I think I've heard that before. You know, she doesn't know you. She doesn't know me. She doesn't know us.
I know, but I'm not sure she wants to. And I'm really not sure what to say to her now. I mean, she told Alistair. She told Alistair about the baby. I don't know what else she's told him.
You can't do anything about Alistair, and you can't make her want to be in your life. But you can show her, and I can show her, that we're good people, and that we're here with good intentions. We can show them with our actions, Mara. And if that's not enough, that's their choice. We can't control that.
Wouldn't the best of intentions be to do as the Lady Marcia asked, not show up to the ball? It might not be the worst idea, just staying here. Father's going to be there. The Lord John is going to be there, and I don't think either of them are going to be too happy about the current arrangements. I'm pretty sure Lord John would rather see me back at the Oakhart camp if they've arrived than staying away here causing more scandal.
Well, that's your choice. And don't you want to go to that ball? All of these knights, all of these people from all around the Reach, the Stormland, Storm.
I love a good party, you know that.
I know.
I bought a dress. And the jewels that you bought me, and this cape would look wonderful, but what if it just causes more harm?
I think that you've suffered enough for the past, more than enough. You deserve to enjoy your life. And to be honest, if they gave you a chance, they would see who you are. They would want you in their lives. We could build a stronger friendship, an alliance. We could connect parts of the Reach that have become hostile, angry with each other. But we have to try.
Good. Do you know, I might even believe that more than I do. She hadn't have brought him up. Because that's all well and good. We can change how people think about our friendship. We can change how people think about the things in our past. But one day he's going to come out. And then what happens? He wouldn't have been part of any of that change if there is any. And then what? I have to go back to Old Oak. Play lady of the house. Not that I have a problem with that. It's all I ever wanted since I was a girl. Like most girls, get married, become a lady, be in charge of a keep, be important. But I need to talk to the Lady Marcia. Do you remember what I told you about when I lost the baby? I know you don't entirely believe me, but I'm not sure I can be the Lady Oakheart. If what happened really happened, who's to say it won't happen again? And she's kind of given you that look in that she doesn't want to say the words, but she's trying to make a point about what she's talking about here.
Sam's taken several more swigs from the flask. There's almost key words that sort of cause it to happen, perhaps. And he's looking around. He is listening, but his gaze averts. And when you direct the question at him, he looks back to you and he says, "Do you still want to be the Lady of Oakheart?"
Do I want to have some kind of power and status? Yes, of course I do. But I don't really have a choice. I'm married. But I am horribly afraid that whatever was done, whatever caused that miscarriage, what if it happened again? What if I can never give him a son? An heir? What then? Then he has to set me aside, remarry, because I'm pretty sure at this point his father would not see any use in having me around. And then everyone will know that I can't bear his children. And then who's going to marry me? I don't really have a choice but to be the Lady Oakheart. It's the only way that I get to keep whatever is left of my life. But then I have to stay married to a man that I've grown to resent. And I didn't have to think about that until she brought him up. And there he was again. No doubt I'm going to run into the Lord John because I can't avoid my father-in-law forever, and he's going to bring it up again. Every year that passes, he wants to know why I won't go and see him. And every time I tell him that I'm ill or not feeling well, or it wouldn't be the right time, he knows I don't want to go.
It's funny. We've traveled all around the realm. We've met so many different people, lords and small folk, all different cultures. And we've laughed so much as we do this. We see the hypocrisies in those people's lives, their actions, that they're tied to these old ideas that don't matter. They don't matter. And that they give up everything for tradition and don't even know what happiness and freedom is.
Happiness and freedom
that.
Was us on that boat. Nothing, no land, just the sea. Even if those sailors were better at cards than we were.
Mara, you can have freedom anywhere. You don't have to be on a boat. You don't have to be in a distant foreign land. You think that you don't have a choice, but you do. You always do.
What am I supposed
You can
to
make
do? Just
any choice.
never go back? I can't remarry, not while I'm still married to him.
No, you can't do that. You're not owned by Alistair. You're not owned by House Oakheart. You're not owned by House Greenmont. And your future, if you don't want it to be, it doesn't have to be as a mother to a man's child, a man that you don't love. It doesn't have to be that, Mara. Your future can be whatever you want. You have money. I have money. We can do whatever we want.
What happens when your father expects you to marry? It's okay for you to have this friendship with me. You know that. It doesn't tarnish your reputation, just mine. But when he marries you off to some lady of the Reach, I highly think she's going to like the idea of either of us doing whatever we want.
I'd like to see him try. He's not going to live forever.
No, he's not. But one day you will need an heir. Unless you intend on trying to change how the realm deals with all of that business. In which case you might need a lot more money than you have currently.
At this point, you see Miria, and she is leading Lord John Oakhart towards you. And you hear her saying, "My Lord John, I'm terribly happy to see you. I'm surprised you didn't arrive with your forward camp. They're just up ahead. Lady Mara arrived earlier today. I trust the journey was safe." And she's got like the most smug shit-eating grin on her face.
I think Mara has a moment where she just has a completely panicked look on her face, just at Samwell, and it's just like, I told you.
Sam puts his finger to his mouth and like doesn't give a shh, but he gives that motion, and then he looks for like a back way out of this tent. Like and he's a big body, so I imagine he like knocks a crate over. Like he's just kind of scrambling around looking for a way out.
I think at this, as soon as he goes to get up and like starts this panic motion, I think Mara just gets up and just grabs him by the arm, like as he's trying to move to the back of the tent. It's like, they already know we're here. If you run and hide, it'll just look worse than it already does.
You can hear Miria saying like, "Oh, I'm so happy that Lord Samwell is accompanying Lady Mara. The roads are so dangerous and they seem to be such good close friends." Like she's laying it on real thick.
Mara's just looking at Samwell. It's just like,
he looks for a book.
There is no point in either of us running. He had a big enough problem with us disappearing for a year. I'm sure this can't be worse than the argument that happened when we got back from that. She just kind of gives you this knowing look of like, we're going to have to face it. We might as well do it. We knew this was coming.
Yeah, and I think eventually your eyes meet the sour expression of your father-in-law, stood just behind Lady Miria, just the side of her. With him is a small entourage of Knights of the Three Leaves, as well as Lady Oakhart.
I think Mara has a moment, and in this, she absolutely recognizes what Miria has done by the shit-eating grin on her sister's face, because she might be older, but it's the same shit-eating grin she saw when they were both much younger, and Miria had probably played ridiculous pranks on her. And I think she just, in that very quick way that she's used to, just switches. She's no longer in that comfortable, friendly mode that she was with Samwell. She is now back to being a lady, and she neatly folds her hands in front of her. She's stood up, looks at Miria. "Sister, how kind of you to escort the Lord John here."
"You're quite welcome. I thought you'd want to see him."
She's giving you the same grin, but like they have as kids. I know what you're doing.
Oh yeah. She's done that full like cherubim smile where it really just doesn't even meet her eyes, but you know, she's got that sweet smile that's like,
Mara's pulling the face that Miria would definitely recognize as the "I've done nothing wrong and you're not getting a rise out of me" face. It's that older sister look that you get given. It's just
is the perfect time to roll status breeding, friends.
All right.
Samwell too.
Oh gosh.
Sure, yeah. And Samwell, he steps out of the tent and like stretches up to his full height, and like stretches his shoulders out, and he's got this sort of like half smile on his face as he's trying to Suss out the situation. This is status breeding.
It is
9.
22.
Damn. How OP have you made, Sam? Well done. And please save me in this.
As just a thing, can Simon just be witness to this, not interacting with any of this? He would not want to stick his hand in this particular hornet's nest.
I would let you spend, not burn, but spend a destiny point to be able to witness this.
I think that's my only destiny point.
So it just means that you wouldn't have access to it for a while until you've accomplished a goal.
Sure. Fuck it.
Okay. So you're...
Yep, I do it. I had a destiny point.
So how are you watching this? Is this like properly secret from behind a tree, or is this kind of you're on the very edge of it, just patiently waiting, or what's the situation?
Until such time as I think my presence might be needed, I will be like, I imagine that on this particular tent ground, there's like one that's a little bit larger. So I think it would be interesting if he knew a back door into Mara's tent, and like is watching from her collection of like tchotchkes and whatever.
A lot of trunks back there. She has a lot of clothes.
A lot of trunks.
Right.
So I think he'd probably be like, taking a knee and trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Okay. All right. It is Sir John that goes first. He simply gives you a Mara. Sir Samuel.
I don't think she even says anything back. I think she just kind of nods in acknowledgement. She's waiting for him to talk because she feels like she's had this conversation before.
Sam will answer. He'll say, "Good to see you, Lord John. Welcome."
It's your camp.
Yes. Do you like it?
Very well secluded. You've picked a very nice position under the tree.
Thank you.
Well, the tournament grounds are so loud with everybody arriving. It's nice to have some peace.
There is space for you in our camp.
It's very kind of you.
He just lets that hang, like he doesn't kind of finish that statement, like that's the tweet. He's just like, that's the statement. There is room for you.
Mara right in it.
There is room for you in our camp. Like that's his thing.
Very kind of you, my lord, but I'm perfectly comfortable here. It's a lot quieter, less hustle and bustle and men in armor.
And he kind of looks to Lady Miria for just a second and then back towards his wife. Let's roll some dice. Did you want to consider Susie?
I want to assist Lord John. I'm just stepping back.
We
and
can
letting
take
this
that
happen.
from before. Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
All right. So you'll lend half your rank in a flat bonus.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be persuasion, convince. This is 22 against V. Your intrigue defense.
I'm just looking for it because I can't remember where it is on here now.
The second tab in the sheets we use on Roll20. Intrigue and
if he's
combat.
using it for that, my persuasion rank's 4, so that would be.
It's 10. It's 10.
24. 4 degrees of success. 4 degrees. If it's 10, then it's 15 is 2, 20 is 3. It'd be 25 would be 4, wouldn't it? So 3 degrees of success.
It's double her intrigue defense. That's a crit.
It is a crit. 2 6s. What's that, friends?
2 6s is a vulnerable hit. Permanently reduce your opponent's DR by 1.
Oh. Okay. We'll resolve that after this damage, and he will inflict 12 composure damage to you.
Can I take frustration to reduce that? I can never remember how frustration works.
You can, yeah. So first of all, reduce that by your disposition rating, because that's your armor.
Yes.
You have to tell me that figure. But if you still would be defeated, so you can take a point of frustration. You can take as many as equal to your will rank. Each point of frustration imposes -1 dice. It reduces the incoming influence equal to your will rank. So if your will is 3, it will reduce 3. If it's 4, it will reduce the damage by 4.
Okay, no, actually, I don't need to take frustration once I take off DR.
Cool.
So.
Okie dokie. All right. Whose turn is it?
It's mine.
It is Samwell's.
So I have this thing that allows me to make, if I'm in an intrigue with somebody with status 4 or greater, and I know their status, which I imagine Samwell knows the status of Lord John, right?
That's so interesting. I wonder if that was meant to be mechanical. It sounds mechanical, doesn't it? But I don't think.
I mean, I can guess. I know his status based on the number of dice you just rolled too. If we're talking mechanical.
I think you do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I get to make, as a free action, I get to make a test. It's 5D. What is it? I get to make as a free action a status test, and I get bonus dice for the rest of the intrigue based on the result. It's versus his pass. It's versus his defense.
Versus its intrigue defense.
Versus his intrigue defense.
Oh, okay. Wow. Is this favored of the noble?
So it says that I get, if I get a success, I rolled an 18, I get +1 bonus dice that I can use at any point during this intrigue. And if I get 2 degrees of success, I get an extra bonus dice.
Yeah, you have 2 degrees.
Sweet. Okay, so Samwell is watching this interaction, and he doesn't say much. He only interjects just slightly. So he glances over to Miria with a little bit of a smile, and then looks back to Lord John. He says, "Is there anything I might be able to do for you, Lord John, while you're here? Is there a reason that you've graced us with your presence?"
Sir, I will be blunt with you. I'm here to escort my daughter-in-law to our camp.
I understand. Is she not free to visit old friends and family?
Visit? Of course. But there is a place for you to stay with us, and he looks directly at her.
I think she kind of holds his gaze for a moment in that, like, he has to have the awkwardness of explaining that, yes, she can visit, but no, she's not free to do what she wants, is what he's getting at. And I think she just looks at him and looks at Samwell with those sweet, innocent doe eyes of her that she has, and just goes, "My lord, you realize that my brother has also been staying with us, do you not? I don't believe that he has got a place at Fox Hollow within the walls. I shan't like to leave him here. It has been so long, and there's very little of my family," and she kind of gives a pointed look at Miria, "that will currently spend time with me. Surely I wouldn't like to leave Lord Tarly here by himself. And such a busy camp does me no favours for my sleep. At least here it is quiet, and I'm sure that the presence of my brother, when he gets back from wherever he has been, should be enough to dissuade any nasty rumours that may arise." She's really pointing out the fact that they are rumours, and that lords don't listen to ridiculous, stupid rumours. It would be an insult to their intelligence. And she's just giving him that look, and then looks back at Samwell innocently, smiles at Miria.
I mean, bearing in mind it's Miria's turn, Susie, is there anything you want to... Oh, you were assisting, weren't you, this round?
Yes,
That's
I'm
right.
assisting Lord John.
Okay,
I think it's still Don's turn, isn't it?
It's still my
'Cause he
turn,
got
I
right, you
think,
free
haven't
yeah.
actually
reaction.
action,
Yeah. But he is just like, he kind of got Lord John started up, and then he sat back and he's just watching the interaction, trying to figure out if there's anything else to this, or if this is just Lord John trying to make a stand about what he thinks is proper.
Sure.
So I guess that's maybe like a read target.
Yeah, go for it.
And I'm gonna use one of my 2 bonus dice that I just got.
Sure.
Oh. A 10.
Okay, you do not succeed.
Okay.
He is being quite reserved, and he's being very careful with his words.
Yeah.
For sure. So there is definitely kind of something there. You've just not quite gotten hold of it yet. Mara, what are you doing in terms of actions? Trying to rebuff this.
I mean, I think for Mara, she has absolutely no intention of being escorted anywhere. And I think she takes a moment to just like watch what everyone is doing. Samwell's gone quiet. Miria's probably still got a shit-eating grin. And I think she looks at the Lord John, who I imagine is going slightly red in the face in this moment, and just says, "My lord, I have no intention of being escorted anywhere I do not wish to be, if we are being blunt. And I do think that you would only be giving life to some of the particularly nasty rumors that have been going around if you were to be seen escorting me against my will back to a camp that I do not wish to stay in. It's too loud, too noisy, and far too many people. And I do not think that those rumors need any further fuel, which you'll only be providing if you drag me from this place. I'm quite happy here. I'm quite safe here. And besides, the Lord Tarly was a good friend and ally of Alistair's. I don't think he would have any issue with me being here."
Why don't you make your roll?
Okay. I think she's trying to convince him that forcing her to go to the Oak Cart camp is going to, if he's concerned about image, it's going to look worse than if he were to just let her be here and pay the rumors no attention and basically be like, "I don't know what you're talking about, they're friends."
Yeah,
like
sure.
that kind of thing. She's pushing for that.
I love the way this game makes people really spin. Like really spin things. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Okay, this is where I have to try and remember stuff that she has. So reroll ones.
Yeah.
A bonus dice and a keep dice. Oh god. I forgot how many dice Mara had to roll doing this. Okay, and then I need to roll 1d6 as well. So that is 26, and there are 3 6s in there.
That is definitely double his intrigue defense. So 16, 21, 26. Did you say you got 26?
Oh, yes. 26.
4 degrees of success. So what is your will rank multiplied by 4?
Will rank. Is it gonna let me? 1 second. It won't let me scroll down to see it. There we go. My will rank is 4.
Okay. You succeed. You win the intrigue. You convince your target to support your position and grants you assistance based on your argument alone. I will leave you with this parting shot that I think it's probably the Alistair thing that wins him over. You can see he is a man who is visibly upset but is trying to hold it back. And with a man like this, it can go one of two ways, and it can swing towards anger, or it can be more kind of boiled down and into frustration. But you've passed. He's not taking frustration. But you can just see behind the eyes and just a slight welling. He is actually quite upset. And he says, "Very well. I can only say that we are quite disappointed that you won't be staying with us." And he looks back at his wife, Lady Oakheart, who kind of looks down for a second, silently almost, kind of expressing how unfortunate that is, and then looks back at him to check whether he's okay. And Miria, he starts to walk away from you, and having turned his back on the group.
I think before he turns, when he expresses that, it's unfortunate, she just kind of, she gives him a look, and it is a genuine look as her face kind of softens from that, I'm ready to make a scene. And she just says, "I understand. I don't wish to cause you any pain, but some of this is still very difficult, and Lord Samuel has been a good friend and was a good friend to your son. And I know Alistair would rather I be comfortable than having sleepless nights. I will come by and visit the camp if you'll have me, however. I'm not sure if I'll be able to go to the feast, but if you hold one there, I would love to come."
He is kind of nodding, eyes down a little.
She means that genuinely. She doesn't have anything against the Lord John. Her issue is with Alistair, and she doesn't enjoy causing him any further pain around his son, because she knows how much it got to him when it happened. So she's genuine. She is being polite. She doesn't necessarily want to have to feast there, but she's saying if that will make things better, if that eases something, then she'd be happy to go. But she has no intention of staying there.
Sure thing. This just leaves Miria stood just outside your tent, probably a few yards away from you, and Simon in the back of the tent.
Behind some trunks.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think Sam.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Right.
I think Sam forgets about Miria for a second and wants Lord John and his wife are turned and walking away. He just smiles over at Mara and says, "I did not think that was going to work."
Well, I don't think it was supposed to. And I think she looks over at Miria. She hasn't forgotten she's standing there.
Mm-hmm. Miria looks Mara up and down with a real judgy look. She tuts and she mumbles something about rumors under her breath. It's really quite incredible how you can just turn that on like that.
I don't wish to cause him any more pain. He's lost his son.
You've lost a husband, yet here you are.
Yet here I am,
Well,
trying to make some kind of amends. I didn't come here to be spiteful. I came here because I was invited.
There's a thing being invited and knowing that you shouldn't have come.
Even I deserve to see Father's grave.
Do you?
Yes. Do you think I've forgiven Alistair for what he did? Do you think I'm okay with what he did? If you'd have given me more...
quite content to carry on your life with him after you found out. Isn't that true?
Miria, you know that I didn't know what he was going to do that night.
I don't care if you knew or not. The fact remains is you stayed with him and you stayed beside him once you found out what he had done.
By the time I knew what he had done, 3 days had passed and we were halfway to Highgarden. What was I supposed to do?
Mara, you always had a choice and you chose wrong. And now you won't even stand by your choice. The moment it became difficult, you dropped him for another man. So don't tell me that I should respect you or welcome you into this home.
Do you really think that Samuel and I, we're friends, Miria?
Mm-hmm.
My lady, whatever you think of us, you don't know us, though I hope perhaps one day you will. We are only friends, and we're here with the best of intentions. And as for meeting you, which I've not had the pleasure of yet, I have heard many good stories about you and Lady Marcia. I would like to be friends, just as I am friends with Mara. Everyone deserves to be able to trust someone, to be close to someone.
So
Mary.
Samuel, the last time you were here, you raised arms against my family's men and my godfather. Tell me why I should trust you. And she's fixing him with like a cold glare.
Lady Miria, I can't tell you why you should trust me. I can tell you that what happened is something that I regret more than anything else in my life. I can tell you that I was young. I could make excuses, but you deserve better than that. All I can do is hope that through my actions, I can convince you to trust me. I want peace in this land. I do not agree with the policies of my father, of Alistair, of the Oakhearts. I've made that abundantly clear at court, and I will repeat it here. And if you trust me because of my actions, that is something I will not demand it of you. But I made a terrible mistake. I was part of something that I had no right to be a part of. And what happened? Well, I'm sorry for whatever little that's worth to you. I can't say more than that.
And she clearly, like she had obviously, she had barbs on her tongue ready to just lash out. But you can see she's taking a real effort to like just not cause another scene.
Miria, I didn't come here to cause you pain or Marcia pain. I was invited. I don't want to see another war. A war that took 2 brothers from us, and eventually a father. And you can hate me until the day I die, if that is what you want. But I will always want what is best for you, for the realm. I don't want to see the Reach and Dawn fighting. I didn't come here to cause any harm. Yes, I carried on with Alistair. I tried to do what I could. I was his wife. It was expected of me. It's what I knew how to do. And 5 years have gone past and I haven't seen him. There is a reason I hadn't seen him. I lost my baby because of him. And I spent a year locking myself away. And the longer I stayed there, the more I realized that he caused this. He was the reason that my baby is gone. He's the reason that Oliver is gone. A man who gave me away at our wedding. Your godfather. A man who practically brought us up. He fractured a family. Nearly ruined his own. And he's paying for it, and I hope he's rotting in there. And I can never undo the help that I gave him. But I loved him. I was his wife. I didn't even have the perspective to see anything else, but I never forgave him for it. Never. You don't have to forgive me. You don't even have to like that I'm here, but I think we both want the same things. There's a reason I'm not staying with the Lord John. There's a reason I hadn't gone down to the camp, even though they've arrived. What am I supposed to do? I'm married to him. I was married to him before this all happened. I can only do what I can now.
What are you doing, Mara, beyond running?
Trying to figure out what I do next. I mean, you've seen him. You've spoken to him. How is he feeling locked up in that cell? I'm sure if you told him about the baby, you probably told him about the rumors too. Am I right?
I never intended to tell him. I never intended to speak to him. I just wanted to face the man that murdered my god's father.
And you deserve that. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong for wanting to look him in the eyes, and Marzia told me that neither of you knew that I hadn't gone to see him. So I don't hold it against you that you spoke to him about the baby.
Mara, you want to earn my respect again, my trust again?
Of course I do. You're my
something.
sister.
Use your power. You have power. Use it. Affect change. Stop running away, taking your trips around the arbor when things get a little difficult. Do you think I had the luxury of doing that? Do you think Lady Marzia had that luxury?
I wouldn't know, Miria, because you wouldn't answer a letter that I sent you. How many did I send you over the last 5 years? How many did you answer? None of them. How am I supposed to know anything about what you've been doing if you won't tell me? Do you think I didn't care?
When I was kidnapped, Mara?
Where was I?
Where were you when I was being marched through the mountains, when I was almost killed?
At my wedding.
Where were you?
At my wedding, I spoke to the Princess Daenerys. I was trying to plead to come and see you, in the hopes that maybe I could try and get you out of Summerhall, find you a good marriage that they might let you leave. And when I heard that you were at Vulture's Roost, I went with Alistair, not just because I didn't think that perhaps he had the wisdom to deal with the other men around him, but because I thought you would be there. Because I thought maybe if I went and I stayed up on that ridge where I could see that battle happening, that maybe somebody would come out of that place with you and I could take you home.
All your talk with Princess Daenerys got, so you know, is she stood there and she watched as her husband put his hands around my throat and tried to kill me. So perhaps you should think further about where you're placing your faith, Mara.
She was
Investigate more than what is just placed in front of you.
I had a 5-minute conversation with the woman at my wedding and never got a chance to follow up because the next thing I heard, you had been kidnapped. Do you think I didn't care that my little sister could be God knows where? Of course I did. I wanted you home.
I've heard, Mara. I've heard how you didn't stand up for me in court when they were branding me a traitor and a spy. I've heard how it was convenient for Alistair to gain power at Vulture's Roost, and that is the reason you lobbied for him. That's always been the case, hasn't it, Mara? I've been a Greenmont when it's been convenient.
Of course.
When it's benefited the house and others.
Lobby for you in court because I didn't know that it would do any good. I thought it might do more harm. Do you know what I did lobby for? I lobbied for Marzia to be able to stay as head of this household when we didn't know if she would be having boys. Did she ever tell you the story of your brother's birth?
Yes.
Did she? Did she tell you of her plea to the gods for a male heir? Did she tell you how I was the one that comforted her with that? How I was there when they were both born? Did she tell you about the time that they rumoured her a witch? Her own parents accused her, and I stood up for her because I knew that the best way to get you home was to make sure there was still a house for you to come back to. And I did everything I could do. But I couldn't do any of that if it doesn't look like I am the Lady Oakheart. It doesn't do any of that if I throw myself into situations that are only going to make things worse.
Then consider what you're doing now, Mara. Consider it. Your husband is in the black cells and you're traipsing around Westeros on a jolly holiday with an unmarried man. Yes, I've heard the rumors. Everyone has heard the rumors, and you are doing nothing to dissuade them. Where did you get those jewels?
She touches the necklace around her neck. They were a gift. Am I not allowed those anymore? What am I supposed to do? Maybe it would have been better if Alistair had been sent to the frozen wall.
This is not even about Alistair anymore, Mara. This is about you. You are supposed to do everything you can. Your power is at Oakheart. You have the opportunity to do something. You are the lady of a house. Lord John, Lady Jane will be dead soon.
Yes.
Then you
and
can
you know
do
who becomes
something.
lord of that house?
Mara,
my darling husband.
You know as much as I do, Mara, that the men think they wield the power in this world. And their names may be on all the documents. They may stand up in court, but they speak their wives' words.
Can you blame me for not wanting anything that's his? For not wanting anything that he gave me when I should be able to take it for myself? I shouldn't need his house or his father or his mother.
And in an ideal world, I wouldn't need to be here either. And yet this is how it is.
Miria, it's not always as easy. Yes, husbands speak their wives' words, but they don't always listen. In fact, they very rarely want to listen, especially if there's other people around. Not all men are terrible. Alistair didn't start out terrible. But eventually, all of them have their own ideas. They are their own people, after all. One day, eventually, when you find a husband, if that's what you want, maybe you will understand that just a little bit, no matter how much they love you and care for you and respect you. They are their own people with their own goals. And you cannot control them. You can't. They're not puppets.
Do not tell me I will understand when I'm older. Mara, I have lived 3 lifetimes already.
I believe.
Do not tell me what is easy and what is difficult.
I don't want the things that he gave me, because if I take them, I have to go back to a man that murdered Oliver and who is sorry that he is sorry that it happened, but he's not sorry that he's dead. There's a difference. Do you really, just for a second, imagine that you don't hate me and that you think of me as your sister? Do you want me to go back to a man like that? Because I don't know what he's going to be like when he comes out. I don't know if anything I say will ever make a difference to anything he does. Or I can try and find something that is mine that he can't take from me when he gets out of there. What would you have me do?
Miria sort of steps forward and she gives Mara a very cold look. We have to do things that are difficult. I had heard stories all my life of the strength of the Greenmont women, of the Blackmont women. Imagine my heartbreak to find that you're so weak. And she turns on her heel and walks away.
I think Mara just watches her leave for a moment and is just stood there. And once Miria is out of view, I think she just turns back to Samwell. And she's just got you can just see the tears that haven't fallen yet as she's standing there. Sorry, you had to see that.
Sam watches this entire exchange after sharing his bit, his eyes darting back and forth. And as Miria starts to head off, he'll just sort of put his hands down on Mara's shoulder and maybe try to brush that tear off of her cheek. And he'll lean down and say, "It's all right. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back."
I think she starts to say that it's whatever he's about to do isn't a good idea, but I imagine he's gone before she finishes the sentence.
He gives you that smile, and he taps his forehead and holds up a finger, and then he runs off to chase down Miria.
I don't think she can even watch. I think she just goes back to the tent and just is stood just in the entranceway, just stood there. She doesn't even want to see what's happening because she expects Miria's going to punch him or something, and just.
I imagine that as soon as she's in the doorway trying to shield her eyes and whatnot, there's just a goblet of wine that comes out of frame for her.
I don't think she even thinks about it at first. She just sees wine and takes it and then realizes Simon's there.
Fine enough job you're doing, I suppose. Fine enough job we're all doing.
I think she just shoots him a look and drinks, waiting to hear the distant shouting that she's expecting to happen any moment now.
Is Miria I'm curious, is Miria just strolling, or is she booking it? Or?
She's walking. She's not going fast. There's again, she's gone past that anger where you're shouty, and she's very calm and quiet as she's just walking.
So he'll stride long-legged, kind of bouncy a little bit, he does a good job of seeming optimistic and being energetic even in really tense situations. And as he sort of bounces to catch up, I imagine he reaches up and snatches an apple off of a tree and kind of tosses it in the air and catches it. He pulls out a little knife and starts carving it as he starts to stroll side by side and looks down to Miria. And as he catches up, he just says, "I love the fruit in this region. To be honest, it tastes better than where I'm from." Apple.
She just ignores him for a second as he's talking.
He'll he'll catch up again. I imagine as she keeps walking, he starts strolling again to get side by side. He'll take a bite of the apple and chew it. And then without looking down, he'll just say, "I don't know what it is that you stand for or what your politics, your views are, but I believe it's the duty of the next generation of leaders of this realm to change things for the better. And I believe that all of those oldies, all of those people in those tents down there, the ones who make the decisions, they don't want to see things change. But I do. And I know that I can't do it alone. Neither can Mara. And neither, no matter how strong the women of Fox Hollow are, can they. We all need friends."
Stops in her tracks and turns to him. "You're right. I do want to change things. But you are a fool. You will die a fool. I had hoped it'd be at the tip of my spear, but it seems someone else will do the job for me."
Well, I hope I don't die at the tip of anyone's spear. Lady Miria, I hope to live a long, full life. And I hope that you'll just consider giving me a chance. For instance, if you need allies, if you have a problem, if you have invaders on your land, or anything at all, really, I have House Tarly. And in the past, the house has been questionable in its alliances and its politics. But we do not lack for power and influence, my lady. And I assure you, you will need friends, just as I do. And when you do, no matter how angry you are now, I will be there for you. And for Lady Marcia, for the rest of my life, it is the very least that I can do. And I just want you to know that.
She takes a moment, and you can see she's clearly mulling it over before she, I imagine, looks up to meet his eyes because he's quite tall. Then I have one simple question for you, Sir Samuel.
Of course.
Red or black?
I'm more of a purple man myself.
I see.
But when it comes to you, I am green and black. And so will House Tarly be.
It's hard to read her expression. She has like 300 in the space of a second. Before she meets his eyes, but not in a aggressive way this time. Good day, Sir Samuel. Good luck with the tourney.
Thank you. I hope not to disappoint. Have a good day. And he takes a bite of the apple and just kind of gently turns and starts to stroll back.
Go ahead.
Go on.
In the tent itself, I think that Simon is sort of like massaging his temple and striking up a conversation with Miria. You know, from what it seems, it's very hard for me to tell whether the boy is a dog or a snake.
Do you always have to be so horrible about him when he's not here, Simon?
Constantly.
How much of that did you see?
Enough.
All of it then, brother.
Perhaps. You already know my objections, but the latter conversation seemed to broil in interesting directions. I think that's the first time you've spoke of it since, well, I tried to ford that particular river.
Yes. I don't like speaking of it. I don't like speaking of him, but had to be done.
Promise. By all gods and men, I see promise. I have to, I think.
He's going to come back with a black eye. I don't know what she's been through, but she's not the little girl that I remember.
Yeah.
She's stronger.
You've
She's seen
strength
something
too.
terrible.
And you have seen things terrible. It's almost as if this very continent is designed to miserate everyone.
I don't think I've seen anything near what she has.
Perhaps not.
I haven't had the misfortune of having anybody wrap their hands around my throat. Oh, I'm sure given the chance, she'd probably give it a go.
Oh, nor has she had the... He almost doesn't stop himself, but he's still wanting to mention what happened.
I think at this point she just looks at him and says, "You can say his name, you know. The gods won't strike you down for it."
Why not? They do much worse for far less.
I think she looks away awkwardly at that point. Perhaps taking more meaning in that than you had intended. It's okay, Simon. Look, it was going to happen. Lord John would have come up here whether or not Miria had escorted him either way. She's just hurried it along a little bit.
Would have hoped to have spoken with Samuel before. I've heard such ghastly things. He kind of pats at his journal. Very mysterious.
More rumors?
Of a nature that would not serve you well to hear. Mara, I plead with you, honestly, and as someone who cares for you. By all gods and men, know what you want. That is all that I ask.
I know what I want. You were listening to that conversation. Well, I know what I don't want. To some degree, that's anything from him, but I don't really have a choice.
No, you don't. I think at that point, Samuel would probably be near, or like...
I think you've touched on something with your journal there that I have had a cool idea for that I really want to try out. So, like you're saying as well before, you wanted to make a streetwise check to get some info, to gather some rumors. So here's what I thought in the car on the way to pick up my wife from work today. You can roll a knowledge streetwise check. And you can choose to ask me a number of questions. That number of questions will generate a difficulty. If you fail the roll, you still get to ask me all of the questions. But I can lie.
I like it. All right. I want to ask 4 questions.
Okay.
Knowledge streetwise, yes?
Mm-hmm. Difficulty is going to be 16.
Oh, knowledge streetwise. Plus 4, because I'm a maester, brings me to 18.
Very nice. Okay.
All right.
You can ask me 4 questions about the goings-on.
What is the disposition of the Lord John Oakhart towards House Tarly specifically?
House Tarly specifically? Friendly.
Friendly.
Yeah.
So they're on good terms, at least in the public eye.
They are.
Okay. Interesting. Has there been any news of Alistair in the Red Keep that has reached Foxhollow?
Only what... Susie might have to fill in a little bit here. But yes, because Lady Marcia and Miria both went to see him.
Sure. And
so you would know that they told him of Mara's miscarriage. And whatever else was that we decided they spoke about.
All right.
But in answer to the question, yes.
So answer the question. Yeah, sure. 2 more. Is the Lord Costain in any way, shape, or form attending this tourney?
No.
Okay. Well, that was just, a little twiddly bit. And then... what is the reputation of the Lady Miria with the other houses?
Which houses specifically?
Specifically, houses Oakhart, Dane, and one Reacher, one Dornish. Oakhart and Dane.
Okay. With the Dornish houses like Dane, there is sympathy for her. With the Reacher houses like Oakhart, there is less sympathy, but she is known as the lady that was escaped from, because that's kind of the verbiage, right? Like that was escaped from Summerhall.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. So with those, as he sort of pats at the journal, he'll kind of add a little twiddly bit of his own. I'm honestly surprised that the Lord John Oakhart was so well composed, considering.
Considering what, brother?
I would rather save my breath and allow for the Lord Tarly to rejoin with us.
I'm sure you would. But he's not here yet. So please, which terrible rumour is it that is spinning around your mind and you're wondering if it's true about your own sister?
Merely a shadow of a rumour that I may have heard drifting from the Oakhart camp upon their arrival here. Nothing more.
You do know that you get your prattling from father. Mother would have just got to the point. Spit it out. Let me tell you that it's false.
I already know that it's false.
Then why does it bother you so?
It was something that the Oakhart said. Something... Oh, God. He opens up the journal and flips through to a particular passage.
Mara's just holding his gaze even if he's not looking at her. she just wants him to spit it out. She's just like, which one is it this time?
I will not, or I refuse to. Oh, refuse to. I refuse to have my son cuckolded by a spot-faced buffoon whilst his wife, under some stupendous sorcery, decides him to be more fitting of a bull to be with. I believe those were the exact words.
Oh dear, are people really worried that I might wish to marry the Lord Tarly?
It doesn't seem to mention marriage, actually. It seems to be purely carnal. At least that's his concerns.
Well, he doesn't have anything to worry about.
I'm sure he doesn't, but that he would suggest such things. Perhaps they're not as friendly as...
Are you saying that your sister is not a good-looking woman? Who, if she wanted to, could put some man under her spell?
I am simply implying that perhaps the Lord John Oakhart puts upon a face that would hide these words.
I think the Lord Oakhart knows less about his son than he thinks he does. She gives you a look that says she knows something that she's not telling.
I've seen this before.
I assure you, brother, if anything had gone on between me and Samwell, wouldn't have gone unnoticed, would it?
That would depend upon whether or not it's ongoing.
You said you don't believe the rumours, and therefore this point doesn't matter.
Many men hold false beliefs.
Many men are stupid.
Lord Tarly. He says, even if he doesn't enter in the
That's got to be the moment, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I think he finishes the apples, he's walking back, he throws it over his shoulder, and he does just like a random, he's out in the middle of like the field on this little hill. He does like a cartwheel, right? Just like he doesn't care. He does it and he walks up and he strides up and he says, I feel like playing cards. Do you all feel like playing cards? There's some men down there. I'm sure they're playing.
I think Mara smiles and kind of leaves Tali's question hanging in the air, looks back at Simon and says, you do remember that our house founder had several husbands. Nobody seemed to be bothered about that. And she gets up immediately and is like, well, as long as you don't lose everything like you did last time. And I think just takes Tali by the arm at the idea of cards and is quite happy to go and looks back at Simon as if to say, are you coming?
All
You
right.
should come play.
Let's head over to Enzo, who I think, her having calmed down a bit through the walk, meets up with Miria, heading towards you down the dirt track back towards the tourney grounds.
Enzo will see Miria. He's got a big smile on his face. He's not carrying the scale mail. He's had a servant of the house take it back to his room at Fox Hollow. And he approaches Miria. Miria, it's so good to see you. He looks around to make sure there's really no one in earshot. I've got good news. I've done that favor. Well, almost done that favor.
Oh, almost? What does
I-
almost mean?
It's just the final part that I need to do. I've got the equipment. I just need to do the final part.
Okay. The final
The
part.
final part. Yes.
I think there's a hollow heart next to you, just looking at you like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Can you be bright?
Sure. Sure.
Just what the fuck, man?
He came out of retirement for this because they needed the guards. Miserable. Come. So, would you like a drink or anything like that? Where are you off to?
I don't know, honestly. Well,
You seem
probably
somewhat
to-
flustered.
it's nothing. I just had another run-in with Lady O'Cott and her companion.
Why did you go to them?
I don't know.
You do know why you went to them.
I know why I went to them,
Mhm.
Enzo. I was being spiteful.
I know. No, you've got to stop
Don't
doing
give
that.
me that look. Just that look.
It is a perfectly innocent look. It is fine.
I got that look when I was 6 years old, and I'd put stones in my sister's shoes.
I'm sure you would want to put something sharper than stones in her shoes. But
Well, yes, I did threaten Lord Tali with my spear, but that's another matter entirely.
He is a big man.
Oh yes, that's a spear, not long. That's a good,
Indeed.
it's kind of the point.
Come with me. Come with me. We'll have a sit down. We shall have a chat for you to calm down.
I'm perfectly calm
Are you calm? That is what I'm worried.
as the harbor.
Yeah.
See?
Are we near harbour? I thought.
No, we're in
No,
the
we're
middle of the
miles away.
mountains.
Yeah. Sorry. What we're
It's
talking
just
about?
because you're a pirate. So Mary
Yeah.
just keeps bringing up pirate stuff.
Pirate stuff. Yeah.
See, I know pirate stuff.
Yeah.
Sails.
Sails. and
Ships and
stuff.
water and stuff.
Yeah.
Listen.
I did want to ask you something. Have you seen Ellery around today?
I don't believe I have. No, I've been very busy.
Hmm.
Oh, make sure is anyone around, like within
Yeah,
earshot?
Briar.
I'm gonna move him away from Briar. Probably not watching.
I'm watching the road.
For the first time ever.
Yeah, he's
First
like
time.
constantly watching. Actually, I did run into your brother, Maester Simon.
Ugh,
I
what
know.
now?
Oh, well, he had a letter for you.
Oh, I'm sure he did. That's his.
I don't know why
method.
he just doesn't come approach you and talk to you like a normal person, but something.
You've
I
met
don't know.
Simon, right?
I suppose.
I've met him twice, I think.
Oh, I've met him more times than you.
Yes. Well, everything else was letters.
Oh,
Just
right.
incessant letters.
I only got one from him.
Poor ravens at
letter.
the Citadel,
It was
honestly.
very long. Anyway, this is the letter, and hands it over to to Miria. I have no idea what it talks about. What is it about?
She just pops it and reads it in front of you.
Okay.
Miria, I do not know by what manner we should perceive one another, but I do know where it should be. There is a bridge where I once sat and foxed myself away while the hollow was wearying. What does that even mean?
I do not know. Continue.
It lies above a stream and leads directly from the hall. I shall be waiting for you there. Regards, Simon. Why couldn't he just write, come meet me by the bridge, I want to talk to you?
I guess he likes to be poetic, cryptic. I don't know.
Is that what happens to maesters at the Citadel? Did they lose all sense of being a normal person?
One of his links is in creative writing.
Just one. Wow.
Well, when I when they get older, I'm not sure if I should tell you. No, that'll be fine. Well, a lot of the maesters in Old Town, there are a lot of brothels in Old Town, and when they get old and they're just looking at books all day, they get bored, and then their mind kind
And
of
so,
goes.
are you trying to say that my brother's mind has been rotted by syphilis?
I mean, it's quite possible. I mean, we don't know. I don't know. We don't know what he was like, if he was always like this. It's a possibility. Or it's possible that he just writes these letters to every woman he finds to try and, I don't know, woo. It's a very lonely life, being a maester. I could not do it. Could you? If you were allowed, of course.
No.
Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it?
Well, this has been a conversation.
It's been a lot of good. Oh, by the way, you how many gold? 2 gold dragons.
2 golden dragons?
Yes.
Where did you buy this the goods from?
Well, like from the thing. It is a tournament. There are many people around. Demand is.
Did you just sail to Bravos and buy them there?
No, it would have been a lot more fancy, to be honest. But I had to get the items on very, very short notice. And let's be honest, you're not exactly a common size for these items.
You could have just said it was armor for a squire.
I suppose I could have.
That would have been far. What? I am not going to ask what you told the Smiths, so that if anybody asks me, I don't know.
That's fine if you wish to do that. It's not going to be exactly like you wanted, but it should do the job.
Okay. And so Miria's like, she brushes her hair back. How do you mean it's not exactly how I want it? Am I going to be walking out there in full plate?
Oh, no. It is what you wanted, just not the color that you wanted.
What?
The color of the thing. You wanted black.
Oh, what color is it?
Gray?
Oh no, the sky will fall. Everything's terrible. No, that's fine.
I would be devastated.
She just laughs. I think she just lets out a belly laugh. Enzo, I needed this conversation.
I know you did.
You're a ridiculous man.
I know. Anyway, I don't know where you're going, but I've got 1 or 2 things left to do.
Well, apparently to the bridge.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could accompany you if you want.
No, I best leave it to just me and him.
No problem. Okay. Well, enjoy the, what did the letter say? What was it? A fox is set away the hollow that was wearying in a bridge or something like that. Something poetic, I don't know.
Don't drink the camp dry. There's still a couple of days of the tourney left.
I will try. Oh, don't stab your brother.
And she just gives him like a dude look. And she sort of walks off muttering like, everybody thinks I'm going to stab
He's going to
him.
walk off, and he is probably going to head to the Tarly encampment.
All right. You probably hear a kind of hey from someone and a frustrated grumble from someone as they play cards. It's a sound you recognise, for sure. Some gambling's going on.
Ooh, gambling. Okay, so he's gonna approach, and he's gonna. Hello, everyone. Sorry to.
So this this short squire stops you.
Mm.
Oh, and hang on. Who are you?
I am almost offended at that. My name, I am Enzo Sel, Lady Mara, and Sir Sam will know me.
You're not Enzo Sal.
I am Enzo Sel.
Enzo Sal's taller. And he doesn't have that ridiculous accent either.
There have been many exaggerations, but I assure you that I am Enzo Sel. I mean, what do you want me to do to prove it?
No, fair enough. What do you want?
I wish to talk to Mara and Samuel. And probably play cards, it would seem.
Oh. Okay. Hang on. And he opens the tent flap. Sir Samuel.
And I think Samuel's already started to lose at cards. And he's just got like his hand, as he's waiting for the next hand to be dealt, he's got like his hand in his head and he looks up and he says, yes, Gregor, what is it?
There's a man claiming to be Enzo Sal outside looking to speak to you.
Does he have money to play cards?
I don't think so. I mean, if he's not Enzo Sal, then probably not.
Let him come in. Bring him in.
Okay. And then he just basically turns on the swivel and it just kind of waves you in.
You'll come in. Thank you. Good work. You'll tap him on the shoulder. Is that what squires do?
Sam will stand up from the table and kind of put a hand down to his war buddies that I imagine, the other knights and soldiers that he plays cards with, and he says, "I'm sorry for the interruption. This is a friend. Come in, Enzo. Come in."
Oh, thank you, Samuel. It is very nice of you to allow me to enter. Is Mara around, sitting at the table as well?
I imagine, like, I'd like to think that as you look for her, you don't see her at first because there's this table, with all of these guys playing cards. And then at one point, just from behind one of the slightly larger men, you see Mara slam some cards down on the table and just pull a handful of coins towards her and take a sip out of the mug. I'm winning it back, kind of. She kind of shouts towards Tali. Like, I imagine they've had a few drinks in this time as well.
Oh, yeah.
Simon is playing the responsible chaperone because he has a meeting later on tonight.
Sam will point to an empty chair and he'll say, "I think my luck's just changing. Why don't you join us, Enzo?"
Oh, thank you. It has been quite some time since I have played cards, but why not? Let's see. And he'll sit down.
I think Enzo's used to this, but Mara maybe isn't. Samuel certainly isn't. As all of your guests watch him like sit down, a couple of them like nudging each other, as they're kind of glancing kind of back and forth to him and kind of looking him up and down a little bit.
So, do we have cards? What is the game? Generic card game number 3.
That's right.
Okay.
It's dragon cards.
Brilliant.
It's probably something we learned from the sailors, right? Like whatever card game they played on that trip to the Arbor we've just talked everyone into playing it.
It's probably called Arbor Gold or something as a kind of ironic name.
Perfect.
Yeah. So thank you so much for allowing me to join you. And I don't think I have properly introduced myself to you. I am Enzo Sal. I have been at House Greenmont for 5 years now.
See, I told you.
Of course, Jesus.
Arzia mentioned you in her letters.
Oh, good things, I hope.
She said that you'd been helping her with Valerian?
That is correct. Although she is a fast learner, I only gave her a little push. She was able to pick it up pretty quickly.
She probably speaks it better than I do now.
Well, if you want, I could also give you lessons too.
Perhaps if there is time before the end of this tournament.
All I have is time. And he'll kind of just play along with the cards. Yeah. And he's gonna. Is Samuel next to me? Who's next to me? Because he wants to kind of whisper.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Samuel's probably picked up on the idea that that other people are sort of staring. He doesn't understand why, but he's sort of noticed it.
Ideally, I was hoping to talk to you and Mara privately. I mean, as much as I like a card game myself, it's just, you know, it is.
Is it an urgent matter?
Oh no! It's more of a curiosity.
Well, perhaps you might join us for a drink in our tent then. We can leave the boys here to scrape up their earnings again so we can take them from them later.
Ooh, I would never say no to a drink.
Of course, it would be impolite to leave in the middle of the hand, and
of course.
And he kind of like puts on a confident smile. I'm feeling good about this one, boys. So
I think Mara leans into Enzo and
be
just
careful
says,
about how much you bet.
He says that every time he's about to lose. She just like whispers it to you.
Okay. I have no idea what cards he's got.
How do we play cards?
I don't know.
Can we roll for this?
Is this a game of luck or is it a game of skill?
I want to imagine it's a bluff. I imagine it's something like poker, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a mix of luck and bluffing.
Yeah, it's either deception or cunning.
Roll me cunning and a bluff specialty. You can roll cheat specialty if you want to cheat.
There's the cheat specialty?
From deception.
There is.
Oh, no.
I'm just doing cunning. It's fine with me.
Samuel is so innocent he hasn't even
I can see Don in Don's eyes. Don's like, there's cheat.
Mental note.
Yeah.
First bonus dice of XP goes on that.
I guess I'll roll 2 because Mara's also playing in
Mine
this
was
hand.
just 13. I did get a 6.
Sorry, did you say bluff specialty, Sam?
Yeah, bluff specialty or cheat specialty if you're...
I need to re-roll the 6s though, because I still have a thing. It's not D20, it's 2D6. So that would be 19, 18, 17, 16. $11 in total for Mara.
And Samuel pushes like a pile of coins towards the center of the table, and he says, "Now you don't have to give me your money, but I'm willing to take it."
How much coin is there? Would you say, Don? Are we doing stags? Are we doing toms? Are we doing dragons?
Let's say stags.
Okay. Well, I did
it
just
passively.
get
Casual
like
game.
161 stags, so just put all that in there. Okay.
He put in 17 stags, which is all the money he has remaining after losing.
You know what?
the
I'll
rest.
match it. I'll just put
Okay.
17 stags.
Oh, you don't have to. That's your choice.
I'm feeling lucky. And
Mara, are you playing as well? Are you staying in?
I think Mara's a little bit too drunk to realize she's got a terrible hand, I think. So I think she thinks she bluffs really well. She'll match it as well. I imagine she's got some of her own money. So
Well,
we show.
Yeah, Sam will show first, and his smile fades, and there's a crestfallen look that comes down over his eyes. And he just throws the cards towards the center of the table, and he said, "I thought for sure that would work." And it's like the second worst hand you can get in this game.
Yeah.
I think Mara then looks at Samwell doing this and then says, "I think you've given me your bad luck," and just chucks her cards in as well and sits back and just watches now to see what happens with Enzo and the rest of these dudes.
Enzo will look at the cards and then look at them all. Well, it looks like that luck is on my side. And he puts the cards down. I was a 13, which I think just beat Mara. I don't know if any of the others got
Mine
better.
dropped. I have to reroll
Yeah.
ones on deception tests. So
And he kind of puts them, beginner's luck.
So you gain those stacks.
So what was it?
17, I think.
It was
So 34 altogether.
34. Okay.
Well, I'd be willing to have that drink now.
I think we all deserve a drink after that. And he'll get up and he kind of puts some in his pouch and he gets up and he awaits for someone to kind of lead him.
Yeah.
I think Mara probably has to be steadied by Samwell because I think they've probably been having a few drinks. They do like to party a little bit. I imagine it's a slightly like this tent is slightly lower down than theirs, and getting up to this little bit of the glade, it's not easy in the darkening hours, I imagine.
Did you know that alcohol is a poison?
About to say that seems like a relevant rule. You know?
What you been drinking? Wine?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure.
What do I have to roll and fail at, Sam?
I have to roll against your passive endurance every time you drink in excess. That is right, isn't it? Virulence is the attack dice. Toxicity is the number of times it attacks before it runs its course. Okay. How many drinks have you had in excess of normal limits?
I mean, what are
Lots.
normal
At least
limits in
3.
Game of Thrones? Because everyone's drinking wine all of the time, right? Like she's
You
not
say
like she's
at
not
least 3.
wasted.
That means
She's-
like 5. At
she's
least 3.
not like wasted, but she's like getting to that tipsy point where things start becoming funnier.
So you went 1 over. You would just
Yeah.
like 1 over.
I like to imagine that like a drink an hour is a fairly safe rate to go.
Yeah.
So at least, you know, generally speaking, but I think Samwell's put down a bottle in the last hour.
Good.
Instead of playing cards.
I'm just going to roll a load of dice here.
Sam rubbing
The
his
both
face.
of us are drunk, Don.
This will make things easier.
14.
All right. My passive is 16.
That's right.
Passive is the little number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Mine's 8.
Good. So you it imposes -1 dice on all tests.
Okay.
The first time it attacks, it gains +3 bonus to all endurance and will tests. You get +3 bonus to all endurance and will tests.
Nice.
But it attacks again because this is wine. Attacks 3 times. So what was that? Just 5d6. Hang on. It's such a silly kind of flippant thing.
Oh, that gets me.
So that's 2 penalty dice. And Mara, what's your endurance rank? 2. You pass out.
Right. Well, I wanted to talk to her, but
And Samuel, this is the next one. 16.
Okay. What if it's a tie?
It's
Do
an
I win a
equal
tie?
or beat, so it's a target number.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're at -2 dice.
I have +2 to will and endurance. Is
The
that how it
first
works?
time the alcohol attacks, the character gains +3 bonus, +3 flat bonus on all endurance and will tests, but this is after that, so it's not. If you get tipsy, like you get a little bump. If it goes, you get further, it gets worse. So you're at -2 dice. I think you've got like at least 3 endurance, so you're still awake at least.
Yeah, I've got 4. So I imagine like Sam goes to steady Mara. How does the Mara pass out though? What's that even look
I like to think that we get back to the tent, right? And there's obviously like there's cots made up and stuff for them to sleep in. And I think she goes to sit down like people do and just get comfy.
She just falls asleep.
And I imagine that she's probably changed out of her heavy riding dress into, something that's more befitting the weather and kind of being around camp. And she pulls some furs up towards her, like sets down the glass of wine she's probably carried back and spilled half of, and probably does something like once Samwell sits next to her, just kind of like drunkenly like lays like drunk people do and just ends up falling asleep. And it's only like midway through a conversation they realize she's not talking. She's just like asleep there with the furs like badly wrapped around her.
Yeah. I guess it was a stressful day for her.
I think Sam looks down and notices that she's passed out and on his lap, and he doesn't make to move her. He just kind of brushes a little bit of hair out of her face, and he says, yes, of course. It was stressful for both of us, I assure you. But I'm glad that we're here, Enzo. I'm glad you're here, too.
Oh?
Yes.
Why are you glad that I am here?
And so you're a man of the world. You've been everywhere, I imagine. Seen many things, different cultures, and you know that it's all horseshit. All of it. You know that the way this world works. Well, you know the truth, and you're at Lady Marcia's side. I'm glad that she has your perspective. I wish that I had had a Valyrian teacher like you when I was a boy.
Was you a Valyrian teacher, not as how should I put it, charming as me?
Boring is the word that I would use, and strict too. Older than my father, I believe. He was my father's teacher before he was mine.
Yes. The old bitter ones, the ones who should have died long ago, and they take it out on the poor students.
I am curious, though. What you said you wanted to talk about something in private.
It is it's not something specific. It is more to get a better picture of what is happening. Honestly, I wish to talk to both you and Mara. I've been at Greenmont House for quite some time, 5 years, and I've grown fond of them. They are good people. But they told me of what happened 5 years ago. But they told me their version of what happened. And I feel that to get a whole picture, I should have both versions. So I wish to know what happened from this side.
I can only speak for myself, Enzo, and
That is why I came
again. Are you protective of them?
Fond of them, I suppose, is more an important word. Don't get me wrong. I will help them when I can, but if it's them or me, I always choose me.
Well, I won't fault you for that. You know of Alistair Oakheart, Mara's
I know of him, yeah.
husband.
Mm-hmm.
There was a day when we were in Fox Hollow. I remember there was a hunt. It was quite an affair, one of my first as a grown man, I suppose. I thought everything was fine, but there was some tension with Alistair and Sir Oliver, who served House Fox,
Green.
Greenmont
Hmm.
at the time. And we broke hospitality. Alistair thought that it was important. He thought that if he tried to do things the legal way, that nothing would happen, I suppose. Words got heated, blades were drawn, and people died.
Do you believe he made the right choice? Do you believe nothing would have happened if they went through the, how you say, legal way?
I do not believe that there was anything right about that day.
Well,
I do
that's
not
good to hear.
believe that Alistair did the right thing, and I'm not convinced that the idea was his entirely.
No. Do you know who potentially could have given him that idea?
No,
No?
there are men who like to wield their influence like weapons behind closed doors. There are many of them.
Well, probably their fair share in this tourney at this present moment.
Do you think that there's someone at this tournament that might have been complicit in what happened at Fox Hollow those years ago?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm just trying to just get a bigger picture for my own sake. I'm not looking to dig up things of the past. What is done in my eyes. You must look towards the future. And I was just trying to get a bigger picture. That is all. You say, do you class yourself as an honorable man at all? I mean, you seem honorable, if a little enjoy of drink and fun, which is good.
I do not consider myself an honorable man.
Hmm.
I'd like to, but I find that I come up short too often.
The thing of honor, something that knights come up with just to make them feel better about themselves of what they do, right? To be honest, if you wish to survive, I would forget about honor altogether and just enjoy yourself, because honor gets people killed.
I try.
I'm sure you do.
Is there something else I can do for you, Enzo? Is there some other question you have for me?
Actually, there is one. Two, really. I was hoping to ask Mara this, but why didn't I understand that she was with her husband, yes? And when she found that she couldn't go back to Fox Hollow because if she did, she'd still be stuck with her husband. Yes, that's how it works in Westeros.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how did she genuinely feel after discovering what had happened? And if you know, I mean, I don't know if you were around that way.
We became closer friends a good time after it happened.
Oh, I see.
I remember when I saw her in court. She spoke fiercely. She defended her place, her family, her husband. She seemed strong. I'm not sure if that was really the case or not. I know that afterwards, she struggled. She was cut off from her family.
So she felt vulnerable after this. I wonder, did she feel this way because she lost, or whether she actually felt this way? What do you believe?
I believe Mara is a good person. I believe she loved Sir Oliver. I believe at one point, perhaps she loved Alistair. And she was young. We all were. And there's a lot of pressure on young lords and ladies in Westeros. Expectations. It's confusing. It's not simple. It's not a matter of right or wrong. It's a matter of trying to do your best. And I believe that Mara tried to do her best and lost a lot. And then had to reconcile with that, as did I.
Yes, sometimes it makes me glad that I was not born on Westeros. All the headaches and demands that you higher born have to take. It is exhausting just thinking about it.
I have to admit,
sorry,
I envy you, Enzo, and I have to wonder something else. I hope you don't mind if I ask you a question,
of course,
too.
this is an exchange. We are having a conversation.
How did you find yourself in the... Well, how did you arrive to Fox Hollow? How did they hire you? What was that?
Oh, well, it depends on who you ask. His Grace Prince Maekar, he requested my assistance in tutoring Lady Marzia.
And you're friends with Prince Maekar?
I wouldn't say. I mean, friends is a strong word. He is aware of me.
And do you still work for Prince Maekar, even now?
Well, no. Lady Marzia, I mean, it wasn't so much that I worked for him, but you know how it is with royalty. They say, I ask this favor of you to do this, and you have to do it, which, you know, it's not really so. But the favor is done. I have taught Lady Marzia Valerian, and no, I can go wherever I wish. But I like it here.
I may not necessarily believe in honor, at least not the way that I think the world views it. But I do believe that there are evil people in this world.
I know there
who
are
only
evil
care
people.
for what they can take. If there was one such person here at the tournament, what would you do with that information if you knew it?
Someone who is genuinely evil?
Someone with Greenmont blood on their hands, perhaps.
If you have anything, if it were me, it would make you a target if you were to go out and do this and tell people or tell anyone. And if they have killed once, they will kill again. If it were me, I would keep shut until an opportunity arose where I could use the information for my benefit. But I don't believe in honor. Is anyone at House Greenmont in danger?
No, I'm sure it's fine. There are many great knights here to stand up for what's right, to protect anyone who might be in danger.
Samuel, if you know something that could affect the Greenmonts, and I am fond of them, as is Mother, although they may not be fond of her, it is important that you tell me if you are worried that they are in danger.
I like you, and so I really do. But I think I have to take your advice.
You are learning, and I like that. Oh, so there was one other question that I had before I go and let you get some sleep, because I understand a lot of drink. Why did you understood what Alistair was doing was dishonorable, yes? Why did you follow him with his orders? Why did you decide, even though in the heart of hearts you know it was wrong what you were doing? I mean, breaking the law of hospitality is possibly one of the lowest things you could possibly do in Westeros, no? So why did you do it?
He looks down to Mara and like brushes a little more hair out of her face and then looks back to him and says, I did it for the reason men do many, many stupid things. I did it for love.
I see. Thank you. It has been a pleasure talking to you, Samuel.
And you, I hope you'll give me a chance to win my money back in cards. I assure you, next time, I'll be the lucky one.
Of course. One thing, when you think you have them, you always smile. Cut out the smile. Or constantly smile, but choose one.
I like to smile. I'm a happy person, so.
That is good. That is very good. Sweet dreams. Sweet dreams, says Samuel.
I'll see you at the tournament.
And he'll get up and he will leave and see and find the squire, whatever his squire is. He can't be that far.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he'll give back the silver that he won and say, give this back to your sir when he awakens. And I will know if you haven't.
All right, I'm a thief.
Good. And he'll walk off.
All right.
So I like to think that Samwell is the one to put Mara to bed, right? Like, eventually shifts it. You're muted, Don.
Yeah. Like he makes sure, like, it probably goes over top with how many blankets and like, furs for pillows,
Yeah.
like burritos her more or less.
I think there's a point that as you like go to leave after putting like that last fur on top, and while you're assessing if this is one too many furs, I think she has that moment that every drunk person has after they've passed out, is that like they wake up briefly for whatever reason, they're disturbed, and I think she opens her eyes and she's clearly still a bit tipsy, and like the fact that she's now laying in bed hasn't really registered. And I think that she just kind of like half asleep reaches out to you and grabs your hand. And she looks up at you as she's trying to kind of blink, and it's too dark. She doesn't remember it being this dark when she fell asleep. And she's just like, please don't go. I know what I want. And it's not him. And I think she falls asleep back on the bed, like almost like still holding your hand. And it's just like that brief moment where she wakes up and vaguely recognizes something's happened, blurts some words, and then is asleep again.
He'll tuck her back in and then like sit down, just kind of plop down near where she's sleeping in the middle of the floor. And he takes out like a quill and parchment and starts to write, like, and sloppily too, because he's more toasted than he's trying to look. And he starts to write, and he just like rips it up, crumples it up, and tosses it off to the side and puts the quill back. And he'll reach over and grab his greatsword, where it's like lying in the corner, and just sort of drag it across the ground of the tent towards him. And he'll just like draw the greatsword and lay it in his lap and lean back against like a box or a crate or something and just slowly nod off beside her.
Well, that is where we will finish up tonight's session, folks. That was a whole thing. whole thing. Just loads of juicy fruits throughout all of that. And I didn't really ever do anything, which is great. I didn't need to. Right, let's go around, have a chat with people, catch up. Jason getting into some of the rumors again. Some of the info gathering. Sly one, building up, keeping cards close to your chest. I like it.
Yeah, I can't help but do that, you know? It just comes with the territory of rumor milling.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm honestly surprised that I came up with that rumor on the fly, to be perfectly honest.
That was awesome.
Yeah, but hopefully that just registers and just festers within someone's mind. Yeah, no, I'm very glad with what few sessions I have left to be stirring the pot in such interesting ways as I think, honestly, the favorite scene, just to have that as part of it, Susie, Virginia, Dawn, that whole interaction after Oakhart left was just fantabulous. I can't help but can't help but be like in awe of what you guys are doing, and Enzo as well coming to the forefront there at the end. There is just, oh boy, that'll be a fun time. But as it stands, I'm just happy to have the last few sessions in a oh man, in a very skeevy sort of character.
Sure. Yeah.
So
sweet.
Yeah.
What are you up to? Where can we find your stuff?
As I said at the top, I'm gonna be starting a full-time job soon, but until then you can find me here on Thursdays playing Simon, and you can also find me over on Twitter at JustJasonPlease if you want to figure out where I am at any one point in time. I also just recently released a game in conjunction with the ever wonderful Kiana Shaw called Way Down Below, a solo journaling experience of mythic proportions, wherein you play a wanderer who's trying to escort their beloved out of Hades. It's a whole thing. It's a fantastic game. I'm supremely proud of it. If you got $6 Canadian to spare, then head on over to her Itch. They are doing fantastic work over there. For now, though, other than that, I yield my time and say thank you all so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, then please catch us live or try to catch us live. And yeah, we'll see you around.
Thanks so much, man. Thank you, Tom. Enzo's like my fave at the moment.
I love playing Enzo. He's so much fun. He's so much fun, and you know what? There's something freeing about not having an allegiance, kinda.
Yeah.
You know, because you're kind of free to kind of explore many different angles. And it's just an absolute blast to play. I absolutely love playing him.
Cool.
And, he's like in all fits, although he's fun to play, he is required to have roleplay heavy. I'm very lucky to have people who are so easy just to bounce roleplay off. Just so quick like that. It's amazing. So it makes it even better. But yeah, so fortunately Enzo, I think he had a good thing. He's earning more money than I thought he would. No one's questioning, but he's just keeping these dragons.
Yeah, man.
No one's questioning, so he's going to keep doing it. And he got some pretty cool information as well, which is pretty handy to have.
You did get fleeced though, and Mira absolutely knows it. Oh
yeah, absolutely fleeced. But you know, it was her fault for sending him, really, wasn't it? So
nice.
What did she want? For myself, I'm Hotflakes Tom. You can find me on Twitter, Hotflakes Tom. This is currently the only show I'm on at the moment. I think I'm not really streaming anything else, but who knows? That might change. But you can check me out in Discord. In Black Cats or in Counter Roleplay. But yeah, that's it. That's me done.
Sweet. Thanks so much, man. Susie, what a sesh. It was a whole thing.
That was... See, I wasn't expecting any of that to like happen. Like I was expecting him to drop Lord John off smile, shit, you know, like be like tomorrow, and then just leave again. But it all just sort of came out, and I think she verbalized some thoughts that she'd been thinking but never actually said out loud. Like especially that stuff about like how she doesn't feel like a Greenmont, right? Because she's only a Greenmont whenever it's convenient, or that's how she feels. Like that just came out, and I was like, oh, Miriam, no. Oh no. But yeah, that was a really intense scene, and I really enjoyed doing it. V, I love you. Don, I love you. Mary is just very angry at everyone right now. But and as well, the bit where she asked Samuel red or black, that just came out of my face, and I was like, well, guess that's out of the bag, Maria.
That excites me. That excites me. That's all I'll say.
Because I mean, let's be real. She grew up with the one-man propaganda machine that is Oliver Ironwood going Blackfyre, like her whole life. But yeah, it was a great session. I'm looking forward to the bridge. I finally get a bridge scene at some point, and then I finally need to like talk to Ellery at some point. There's a ton of stuff that she wants to tell him too. So I'm looking forward to future sessions. But until then, you can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace, at Susanna with one N. I am mostly here and on my own channel where I'm streaming at the minute Sea of Thieves, Pirate Shenanigans, usually with Sam and James and Tom if he shows up. And tomorrow on my channel and on Virginia's channel, we're doing Fragging Friday, where we play Rainbow Six Siege together. We're doing ranked matches, so you can watch our MMR plummet as we have potato aim and friendly fire and stuff. But yeah, that's usually at 3 p.m. All my streams are at 3 p.m. Eastern, which is 8 p.m. British time. So should do for this.
Sweet. All right. And V, oof.
I am with Susie in that interaction between Miria and Mara. Loads of stuff just came out. There was lots of ideas there that I didn't think Mara would have found a way to verbalize yet. But in talking to Miria, has realized a lot about what she wants, because she's never really had to talk about it before, because she's always just been able to like go, fuck that, I'll do this fun thing instead. And I love it. I love that their interactions are getting less and less angry, but more and more angsty. Like, as the both of them are just like, well, you know, my life hasn't been perfect either. As it's so sibling-ish to some degree, like the terrible way they're winding each other up just by smiling at each other, like they would have done as kids.
And I said like, in chat, I love this house lives. Like, talk about mums and dads and stuff, and mentioning other people and putting rocks in shoes and stuff, like it lives. And that's amazing.
But I love that that's happening, because I think it's good for from a meta perspective, like looking outside in, it's good for them because they're getting all the anger out the way, and they're not ever going to be able to talk until they can deal with that. Otherwise they're just gonna, you know, Miria's gonna be trying to stab Mara forever. And I absolutely love that Samuel went after her in just the most casual way. Like, Mara honestly thought he'd come back with a black eye. I thought he would come back with a black eye. And I love seeing how, like, protective Samuel is of Mara. How he's, like, ready to jump to her defense and, like, yeah, okay, she hasn't exactly had it easy, guys. You're all forgetting this. Like, and I need to know who he was talking about in that end scene, and I need to know what the heck he's writing. But it's also adorable that he decided to drunkenly drag his greatsword across the floor of this tent. The image of that is just adorable.
I got Ned vibes there for that.
You
like
got what,
him,
sorry?
Like Ned Stark vibes, like him polishing and sharpening his greatsword.
Heck yeah.
Sure.
I'm interested to see when they get a moment to chat alone, when Mara's not drunk and passed out, what will be said, because I think she's realised some things that I'm probably gonna message Don about so we can conspire.
For sure.
Go
on. Pitch. What do you got on?
Plugs. So like Susie said, tomorrow we're doing Fragging Friday over on mine and Susie's channel. We have like a fancy multi-stream link so you can see both of us and chat with us both. You should come. Like Susie said, watch our MMR plummet, and us be sassy about toxic baby boys on games.
Yeah.
and mostly watch me accidentally walk in front of Susie's bullets, because that happens a lot. And then Monday is my follower voted stream. So if you follow me on Twitter, then you get to vote for what I stream. I don't know what I'm putting on it yet, but probably a bunch of video games or some graphic design or something.
Cool.
And then Witcher on Wednesdays, where you can see me talk to a horse a lot and be questionable. And they're all at the same time as this stream. So 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern.
Nice.
All of my streams are the same time. I love it.
Very nice. It's easy to remember, for sure. Cool. And Dawn, thank you so much for your contribution to this session. So good. You know what I loved about the drunkenness is that people get honest when they're drunk. And like that's what happened. Mm-hmm. They don't get all like, to say whatever. It's like, no, they get honest. I loved it.
And Sam's a trusting person for the most part. And right. If you drink with him and you play cards with him, then like you're his buddy. Right. And so is Enzo his buddy? Probably not. We don't know. But Sam thinks so, at least to a point. You know, he almost, I think Sam like, and it was something Tom said as Enzo. There was a moment where I determined that, okay, well, Sam's going to overshare something else. And I had something. And then Tom gave that advice as Enzo. And I was like, so I think that there's a lot of good seeds that are being planted for all the storylines. Everybody's characters always amazing here.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the tournament. I keep saying that, but I am.
Of course.
I'm looking forward to the tournament. I'm looking forward to the ball. I think Charlie can't stop me from going. I'm sorry.
Fact.
Going.
Yeah.
I'm going to the ball.
Hell yeah.
One way or the other. And yeah, I'm really excited because I have no idea where the season's going, but it's a joy to be here. There's a lot, this has been a rough year. It's been a challenging year, and I'm always so grateful to get to play with these people, tell stories with these people, and spend my Thursdays here. I always look forward to it so much.
Thanks so much. Man. Thanks so much. Yeah, it's building up to a thing. It's building up to a thing. I'm laying the groundwork, and so are all of you. Yeah. You get to provide the juicy fruits in the meantime. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What have you got going on? Like any plugs or anything you want to knock out?
Everything I'm working on right now, which is a ton of stuff. It's all things that'll come out like at the end of the month or next month. Sure. But the big thing I guess I can plug is if you aren't following Mage Hand Press, I've done a lot of work on this starter kit, like multiple adventures and various elements, and they put together this beautiful box set for Dark Matter, which is 5th edition in space. And it's a great system. The books are beautiful, and I'm really, really excited about sharing that with people once it comes out. So yeah, I think you can follow them on Twitter at Magehand Press, and if you sign up for their newsletter, there's a free demo you can get for some of the stuff that I've been doing.
Nice.
And then at the end of this month, that'll be kickstarted. So we'll see how that goes.
Very, very cool, man. Very cool. Well, thank you so much, friends. I am getting proper sleepy now, but thank you so much all for letting me sit back and enjoy some serious juicy fruits. That was absolutely incredible. I'll just say it once again. In terms of us, in terms of Black Cats Gaming specifically, if you haven't already, you can join the Discord. We have that. And we're also obviously still working on the Spy game, which is our 5e tabletop RPG all about spies and international espionage and action and intrigue and all that kind of cool stuff, all using the 5e kind of system. There's a little quick start out there, and there's some late pledges still available as we finish up the manuscript. So check those out if you haven't already. And come and hang out with us every Thursday live on Twitch at Follow Black Cats, or check us out on Twitter at Follow Black Cats as well. Yeah, all good. I think. Susie, did I miss anything? I don't know anymore.
No, I think you got it.
Cool. I'm gonna go to bed now. Thanks, friends. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Farewell.